Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 14th of May 2020. This is The Gap, episode 516. I'm Luke Lawrie. Joab Gilroy is here, and we're at, I think, week 9 now over here, where I have not been allowed outside, which is fun.
Oh yeah, cool, sweet. I haven't been counting the weeks, so I've lost all track of time. But I did go outside.
Right.
We'll talk about it in a little bit, but yeah. It looks like we're opening up over here because our government, by relying more on the state governments to do stuff, but not specifically impeding the state governments in doing stuff, which is what your government has been doing.
I don't think they've been doing anything over here, the government.
Haven't they been taking shit from state governments and putting it in this big stockpile or some shit?
They've been confiscating it and then making them bid against each other for supplies and stuff like that. Yeah, it's been interesting.
Yikes. But anyway, Australia has done pretty well and has flattened the curve.
Yes.
So they are starting to reopen stuff over here, which is pretty good.
Well, we're doing that as well. I think next Monday, a lot of the states is going to start reopening, but they have not flattened any curve. It is still going up.
That's the key difference there is, they haven't flattened the curve. So I think from tomorrow, 5 people will be allowed to go into a house to visit someone or some shit. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway. But yeah, so I don't know. It's cold weather. I don't really want to go outside at the moment anyway, so fuck it. NBD, just go visit family or whatever. Apparently up in Queensland, they had you're only allowed to travel a certain distance limit. I hadn't heard anything like that, but this was my granddad's birthday the other week, and because he lives on Bribie Island, nobody was allowed to visit him because it takes you have to drive about 50 fucking kilometers out of your way just to get over the fucking bridge to Bribie. So unless you live on fucking right on the other side of the bridge, you're basically fucked. Or on Bribie itself, I suppose. So he was very very grumpy that nobody could come visit him. And that was the first I'd heard of some sort of distance. It doesn't even make sense. Queensland's giant. Queensland's the second biggest state in Australia. You can't get anywhere within... Nothing's 50 kilometers away from anything in fucking Queensland. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Even in Sydney, if you drove 50 kilometers, I guess, west, you'd still be in Sydney. You'd have to go for another 50 kilometers to be towards, the mountains or something. In the mountains.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. Otherwise, you'd be in, Penrith during traffic or something like that.
The nightmare.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, thought we could start off by talking about the Telstra game reviewer.
Oh, right. I didn't put this down, but it's good that you've brought it up.
Did you forget about this?
I forgot about Telstra. One of the best jobs going for critics at the moment, yes.
Telstra announced earlier this week that they were looking for a person to come be the Telstra game reviewer. The official game reviewer of Telstra. Nationwide search begins to find the official game reviewer to host a new content series. Attention all gamers, Telstra wants you to be its official game reviewer. And the nuts and bolts of it are that they will pay $25,000 to review 10 games.
Where do you start with this?
$2,500. I just figured the price, right? $2,500 a game is a significant amount. Apparently, you got to knock out a video and a written review which does generally knock up the price a little bit.
Sure.
The written review apparently has to be a minimum of 300 words,
which is my
so
intro.
yeah,
That's half of your intro.
But that's the minimum. I guess you could go as long as you want. I think this is a very interesting one because it's a competition to win a job reviewing games for Telstra, which is how I got into the industry. I won a competition to review games for Telstra. It was a little bit different to this in that I won a PlayStation 3 on launch back when they were $1,400 and also perpetually sold out or whatever, however much they fucking cost. I don't know. I never bought one because I fucking won one. So I got no idea. The one of the caveats of winning was that I had to write a review of all of the games that I got with it, and I got like every single launch game. Something like I think it was 8 games and like 14 Blu-ray DVDs back when nobody had fucking Blu-rays, and
because that's what
Click.
they were pushing it as like a Blu-ray player. Same sort of thing as what they did with the PlayStation 2, being like, hey, you can play DVDs on this thing. It was kind of like the thing that Sony Home Entertainment were like, chuck this in there. It'll sell more units.
Thing they very weirdly didn't do with the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Anyway, Click was the best Blu-ray that I owned. Click is a fucking hyper underrated movie.
The Adam
Sandler remote one. Yeah, holy shit, man. That's when you realize that Adam Sandler might be able to do dramatic roles. Anyway, I had to write reviews of the games that I got, and they weren't official Game Arena. This was via Game Arena, Telstra Game Arena, Big Pond Game Arena rather. They weren't official Game Arena reviews, but they were published on the site as a bit of a lark. I think the editor at the time, Justin Cransell, who now works at Riot Games.
Is it right?
Yeah. I think he thought it was like, I wasn't going to want to do it, and I submitted like a fucking 1,400 word review just out of the blue. Like the day after he told me about how I was supposed to write these fucking this blog about winning a PlayStation and the reviews of the games. He told me, and then a day later I dropped on him way too many words about, I want to say it was Motorstorm first. He liked it. I mean, I think it required a number of edits, but he liked it enough. And then we went from there. After that, after my obligations with the console reviewing thing, the competition were over, he offered me paid gigs reviewing games, and then gave me the opportunity to apply for the staff writer gig at Game Arena. And he very graciously decided to move to the US, and I took over his role as editor.
Yeah.
And then I held that role for like 7 years until Game Arena shut down. So obviously it's, there are parallels there, right? Like Telstra Game Reviewer and the Big Pond Game Arena competition. I mean, they're both competitions. They're both an opportunity to review games. I was not being paid $25,000. I won a PlayStation and a bunch of games. It was a little bit less
for 7 years. By the way, that's what you got for 7 years.
I know you got paid a dime outside of the PlayStation, but I did use the PlayStation to mine for Bitcoin, so I became rich in other ways. Anyway, yeah, the money is the interesting thing, I think, because $2,500 a review back then, back when I won the Game Arena PlayStation competition, I made those first reviews when I was legit just going to write reviews for free because I very much enjoy writing reviews. I like games. I like writing, reviewing games makes sense. And I'm the best at it. But I was going to do it for free. He said, "Oh no, we pay our reviewers. You have to pay reviewers. It's extremely important." Which was he taught me a lot. Like a lot of important lessons. But yeah, he was like, "You got to pay." So I got paid $300 to write these reviews, which was fucking bananas to me because I was like, I'll do it for free, motherfucker. But yeah, it's so much it's so important that you value your work. $300, write a review. This is nearly 10 times that. It's actually 10 times what you regularly get paid for a review these days. $250 is about the standard across the board at the major sites for a video slash to add a video onto a written review. That usually doubles the price. They usually just double because you're not actually making the video itself. You're just writing the script, and most of the time, not during a lockdown, but most of the time, also speaking, the voiceover. So they'll just double it. The script for a video review is always significantly shorter than the actual review. It's about 600 words. And yeah.
And you usually just grab the whole thing and go Control A, summarize, and then there's your script.
Easy
money.
Yeah, so $2,500 is 10 times what you would get paid to write a review and 5 times what you would normally get paid for writing a review and then delivering the review via voiceover, or delivering a separate scripted review via voiceover. So it's a big fucking chunk of money. So yeah, I've been fucking inundated from people hit me up to tell me about this. Some sincerely telling me I should go for this. Others more extremely amused. I don't know. I think for me, right, the money is the most important part because I think it very clearly indicates what they want out of this program. And then I don't say if anyone is listening to this, and do you think you would like to do this if you've always wanted to be a game reviewer and all that kind of stuff? First of all, if you want to be a game reviewer, the best thing you can do is just write game reviews. I was writing game reviews before I got the Telstra gig. Long, hypercritical game reviews that I just post on forums for anyone to read. But you should be doing that just as stock standard. But if you're interested in it, you should go for this. Absolutely. $25,000 is nothing to fucking sniff at. That's 10 game reviews. I mean, at the very least, you're going to get a bunch of experience. However, I think you need to set your expectations in that I do not believe that they are paying $2,500 per review for someone to give critical analysis on a game.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what this is. I think this is you should go for it for the experience. If you are interested in doing game reviews, you should apply for this for the experience of publishing something that you're willing to send to someone as representative of your skills. But you should be aware that this role, I think, is for a hype person. This is a role. I'm not saying straight up that doing this will mean you won't become a respected games critic. Because certainly when I started out, people gave me shit about getting my fucking job out of a fucking cereal box and stuff. Like it 100% happened. Nate even did it once, and I told him to fuck off. Because there is certainly a degree of, I guess, you didn't earn your way in, right? But everyone's lucky somehow, right? And you earn it by fucking holding on, grabbing, and never fucking letting go, right? So if you were to get in via this program, you could absolutely become the next Joab Gilroy type thing. But there is, I think it would be a much harder path, because I think what they want is hype pieces for games. I don't think they want critical analysis. That's not, you don't pay $2,500. $2,500 is what we get paid, like what I get paid for doing like copywriting. That's good money that you do when you're ghostwriting for corporate entities who your name will never go on that shit, and it is never, like, probably never seen by, like, that's a lot of what I write at the moment is that, because it pays amazingly, right? The difference here is that your name is going on it, right? And your face is in the videos, and you are the hype person for these games. It's a collaboration between Telstra and Xbox to promote their Xbox partnership, the system wherein you can, add a little bit of money to your phone or internet plan and get Xbox hardware.
Yeah,
and
like a subscription plan for phones.
Exactly. It's around that, and it's around Xbox games and Xbox games on Game Pass. So what they're doing is they're sort of they don't want, Nate and Luke were suggesting that I slap a video together for my Ori and the Will-O-the-Wisps review, which I think could be like, I think it's a fucking genius idea, right? It's a genius idea because I think it would pretty clearly highlight the situation at hand, right? Because what I wrote is fucking 3,500 words of critical analysis of the strengths and weaknesses of Ori and the Will-O-the-Wisps. The dichotomy of the, I guess, childlike aesthetic versus the insane Souls-esque fucking
difficult
world design. And how that doesn't marry in a way that I think is successful as I think they wanted it to be. So I think it'd be a fantastic example, because I don't think you could, if I were to go ahead and put my all into making that video all it could be. Hey guys, here to talk to you about Ori and the Will-O-the-Wisps. I don't think that regardless of how hype I sounded, the critical analysis isn't what they want what they would want out of this. I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong, 100%. Maybe we find out. Maybe the first one they come out with, and whoever gets the gig comes out and they're like, Halo Infinite might be the worst game of all time.
Let me tell you about State of Decay.
Yeah, exactly. Like that might happen. It might happen, and we've read this all wrong. But
yeah, that's not how it reads.
That's not, like, none of how, like, if you read the press release, if you read the stories created out of this, none of this reads like they want a hype person.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is you see the title and you're like, oh, they're after a reviewer, and then you read the job ad, and it's like it starts talking about reviewing games and that sort of thing, and then it gets to the point where it's like you'll be reviewing stuff on the Xbox platform and their Game Pass titles, and then half of the job ad is basically talking about Xbox, and then you're like, oh, this is All right. And I guess that's the thing, right? For the people that are in the know, they would probably read this and be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, I'm going to go for this. But you see this type of content all the time on websites passed off as like advertorial content. And so what that means is that a site, and you can see it on stuff like Gizmodo, or used to do this stuff quite a lot, where they've been paid to by a company to promote a product, and they'll write it as a either a review, or they'll just start writing feature articles about it. And back in the days, you would see a lot of this stuff, and it wouldn't be marked as an advertorial. It'd be passed off as like legitimate content. And I guess that's where things have really changed the last couple of years, where we've seen it happen with streamers or content creators. Like EA ran into big problems with this, where what was actually a review and what was a content creator being paid to say positive things about it. And that's when we started seeing stuff like the Australian consumer industry getting involved and being like, you need to hashtag your posts saying that this is an ad or whatever. And that's what you see all this stuff everywhere now, with whether it's featured work on a website or video content. Like, if it's an ad, you generally need to tell people this is an ad. So they've gotten a lot better with that sort of stuff, but that's kind of what this is reading like. It's a collaboration between Xbox and Telstra to promote their content. And I think that's why the reviewer word is it's not the right word to use, right?
Yeah.
And to me, even the price sits very strangely as like an appearance fee for an influencer. Like, they're looking for someone with a following or a background that they can put behind this and stick in front of the camera to promote their content. And reviewer just doesn't seem like the right word, because I also get the feeling, and this is something I was saying to you guys in the chat, that there's not going to be much critical analysis on this stuff.
Yeah,
it seemed more like a product. Like, I don't even know if you'd call it a review at that stage. And it'll be interesting when this comes out. Like, will it have some sort of you see it sometimes as well, like the hashtags where they try and hide that it's a promo. Like, they don't put it ad, they put like hashtag team fucking Telstra. Let's put team Telstra, but that's like their hidden word to say that they're part of the ad team. Or you see a lot of that sneaky stuff going on these days. And that's kind of what this application reads to me. And like you, I'd be happy to be proven wrong, but the moment I read this, I was like, this instantaneously reads like a partnership. And then the more and more you started to dig into it, it's like, this is absolutely an Xbox thing. You started seeing the Xbox social media pages posting about this stuff. The head of Xbox, previously the head of Xbox ANZ, was posting about it on his Twitter page. He's now the one of the leads for Asia Pacific at Xbox. Like, that's not the type of thing where all of a sudden they'd be like, hey, here's a Telstra job, you should check this out. Like, that is, unless there's something sort of weird connection going on there, which is absolutely what is happening. This is not I don't think this is a reviewer job. This is promo work. And they're trying to figure out a way to pass it off as, and that kind of makes me feel bad for people that are maybe thinking about going for it, especially like actual reviewers that maybe didn't realize, or critics that realized that this is not a promo gig. Like, I could be 100% wrong, but like, reading the contract, I read through the contract. It talks about like because I like you said, gave you the suggestion you should submit your review. You can't actually do that because it says you need to submit a new review and it can't be posted anywhere else. And they also will own that review, which means that if you were to post your Ori review, and I don't remember who it was it Play 2?
Ori, no, I did for the Gap.
The Gap, right? Yeah, Telstra owns. Does Telstra now own the Gap at that stage again?
Let's not pull on that thread. Let's not uncork that bottle.
There's talk about in there that they could terminate the actual the I don't know what I'd have to bring it back up, but say the job at
Yeah,
any
to
time.
terminate the contract at any time. Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
Yep.
there's a lot of stuff in there that just doesn't read like this is an actual job. Like, there's wordings in there
Reviewer
how they
job,
can, yeah,
right?
they can go to
That's what.
casting
Sorry.
agencies to find them. Like, in that side of means that looking for an actor or someone
Yeah.
in modeling, or where else do you go for casting agents? I don't know, acting, modeling type. They could go to
Yeah.
those places to find people. I mean, I guess influencers as well, right? Because that's kind of where
That's what
that
I
stuff
think
has
you need
gone.
to. That's what I think you need to like. You need to adjust your expectations if you are going for
Hmm.
this, right? What I was saying before, I don't think you're going to transition this from being the Telstra game reviewer into being the next Joe Gilroy. It's more likely that you can transition from this into being the next Twitch, or probably more accurately Mixer star. Like, you could use this as a way to become a streamer or influencer in that sense. But I do not think that this is a pathway into becoming a game reviewer in the traditional sense, because I don't think
That's not what this
any
is.
part of it lends itself to that pathway.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
If you're looking for something to be able to write critically about a game, then you're best off finding a community website, or starting your own blog, or starting your own YouTube page and doing it that way, where you can actually give your honest opinion.
Like, honestly, if you can get $2,500 per review to give your flat out honest opinion
Yeah.
about 10 games, you should 1000% fucking do it.
Because somebody
Like,
doesn't know what they're doing over
you're
there.
a fucking king. But king or queen, my bad. But yeah, I just do not. I don't think that's what's going to happen. Yeah. And the other thing about, like, we were talking. I don't know if everyone here has been listening to us for the last fucking 11 years, but we started out. The Gap originally stood for the Game Arena podcast, and Game Arena, in case you didn't know, was owned by Telstra. So this podcast actually started out on Telstra.
Right.
So that's what we were talking about before.
The award-winning gaming website.
Yes, that's what's cooked about this, right? Like, that's what gets me the most about this shit is that, like, I mean, I think everyone has been, but this is like, if in like 10 years later to then come back and drop, like, fucking be Telstra's game reviewer. And, like, because I got Google alerts on my name to make sure that whenever I get fucking mentioned in Gamergate related shit, I can see it before I find out via fuckheads on Twitter. But like, I've been mentioned a lot in the news stories about this Telstra game reviewer thing.
Sure.
As the last Telstra game reviewer, me and Junglist. And yeah, it is like if in 1998, right, Jerry Krause fucking, instead of shitting up the Bulls by pissing off all the stars as much as he fucking could, instead he just, like, shut down the Bulls. And he was just like, you know what, the Bulls don't exist anymore. And then 10 years later, he came back and was like, open tryouts, and we're paying 10 times what we paid Michael Jordan.
And we're only accepting people on Instagram that make dunk videos.
Yeah, exactly. This fucking bananas. It is pretty fucking wild. So yeah, I'm not a fan of being fucking tagged in every time anyone talks about this scheme, but yeah, I don't know. I do like. I think someone's gonna win it, and I'm definitely gonna be interested to see what they put out. I just hope they are aware up front of what they're getting themselves into. If they go in with the right expectations, then they'll come out with it $25,000 richer, and, like, with probably some pretty good opportunities. You know, some good connections to Xbox and the ability to hopefully transition that into a bigger probably streaming career. But if they go in hoping to be, to this will give them the opportunity to be a part of Australia's like games criticism elite. And I've said this a billion times, but I do think that Australia has the best fucking game critics in the world. Because we're like a crucible of just continuously getting better and better at games criticism. That's why we wind up, that's why situations like Death Stranding only getting actual critical analysis out of Australia happen type thing.
Right.
I don't think that's what this is going to lead to, sadly.
I mean, if they wanted someone of that caliber, they have the resources to go out and get those people, right? Like, they're literally, Xbox knows everyone down here. They could easily interview. I mean, it's not like anyone down here's back in Australia is busy. Just because, not to say that like things are quiet at the moment, but just the state of the industry in Australia specifically of just it's not like in the US or in Europe where there's jobs going. It's getting harder and harder in Australia to work because outlets are dying. And so they could easily contact a bunch of people, and they don't have to be like contacting one person. They could do a bunch of interviews with 10 people back there in Australia, for people that would be willing to do that sort of thing. But that's, again, it just doesn't seem like what they're going for. Yeah.
No.
It seems like they were after a hype man or a hype person.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, like I said, it's still, and it's still cool that, the money's going to be out there. Someone's going to get it. I don't know.
And like the other thing I was thinking of, because it's funny you brought up the Game Arena thing again, is that you look at how long ago did Game Arena shut down? Was it 6 years ago? 5 years ago?
6, yeah.
Around.
Oh no, 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've shut down 5. I left like 7 months before it shut down.
Yeah, when they made the announcement that they were starting to close things down. You look at that and like the whole award-winning site, but you sort of look at the forefront of where that site was going in terms of producing a lot of video content and podcasts, right? And that's where the industry has gone. And it's just like they blew it so hard. They could easily, I mean, it was the biggest Australian local site, right?
It was the biggest local, yes. I don't know if I've ever told this story on the podcast. I probably have, because I've said fucking a billion words on this podcast. But like,
yeah,
when they told us that Telstra Media was shutting down, with the exception of AFL and NRL, despite, because at the time, right, Big Pond Games shop actually made more money than every other like site in Telstra Media. Everything. Like, it blitzed everything. So
what were you doing on the site? It was like you could do things like buy servers and that sort of stuff.
And you could buy games. Like, you could straight up just buy games. We had a big shop, and it was full of like the sorts of games that the team at Big Pond Games was really fucking good at their job. And like, you could buy like, Peggle, and they were like doing partnerships with PopCap and all this kind of stuff. So they always were on the fucking forefront of the Candy Crush type games that like, I guess, people who would buy games from Big Pond Games wanted.
Sure, right? Yeah. It's that audience.
They weren't like, it's not like the Steam marketplace. It was like the fucking, I don't know, mums buying the new Solitaire type audience. And the site made tons. Like, it was doing really well. And they just shut it down. But Game Arena was a part of that. We were not making as much money as the Big Pond Game Shop, but because we were Big Point gave us this one bucket. It was technically the most successful site in the portfolio, and they told us that, you know, despite this, we needed to come up with some sort of idea to save the site. And so I came up with a transition into esports about 4 years ahead of the fucking curve. That was my big plan. And yeah, I'm like, look, we go into esports. I mean, we can run esports. We already run esports in this fucking country. We've got service for fucking days. Everyone comes here for our ladders. We lift that entire community up. We report on it, and we build it out into something bigger. And they're like, no. And yeah, now esports is a huge thing. Yeah, video is what everyone's doing, which we were doing way beforehand. Podcasts, everyone podcasts, which we weren't technically first because we stole this idea directly from Matt and Yug, but Australian Gamer. But like, yeah, we were still on the fucking ground floor for that shit. And yeah, we're doing long form critical analysis that now people say they want, but no one is willing to pay for. We had a giant telco backer that could afford to not pay too much attention to how much we were paying, so I could pay freelancers more than anyone else, which was awesome. Yeah, it was good stuff, and they just sort of threw it away out of nowhere, which is insane. Yeah, they were literally like, yeah, we were making, we're fucking good. I mean, there was a reason we were number one. And I mean, part of it was that we were a primary destination for a lot of game stuff, but a large part of it was because the content was the best. Yeah, anyway, good times. So yeah, Telstra Game Reviewer. We review the Telstra Game Reviewer competition.
Yeah.
Go.
I still think you should enter it somehow. It's so fun.
Yep. I need some. You know, it's about Xbox Game Pass games, and I've been playing an Xbox Game Pass game this week.
Right.
Called Levelhead. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't seen this.
It's available on Xbox Game Pass for Windows, and it's, I would call it basically, you know, Super Mario Maker. This is sort of Super Meat Boy Maker.
All right.
It's not as gory or anything, but it feels like I guess the physics, the platforming of it feels very similar, far more similar to Meat Boy than it does Mario. And yeah, you go through, like, you've got these levels, you go through the levels, and you can make your own levels. And there's this sort of meta narrative in there that tells you, you know, you can build your levels and then promote your levels. You can use these exposure bucks to give your levels exposure, and more people will play them, and they'll vote on them, and they'll get shared more, and you'll earn, I think, more exposure bucks as people play them. It's pretty good. Like, I like the Super Meat Boy style platforming. It's ever so slightly different. It feels a little bit floatier than Meat Boy, which takes some getting used to, because mentally it feels initially exactly like Meat Boy, and then you need that little bit more precision as you get through the game, and you're like, this is not quite it. So you got to mentally adjust, but that's not that bad. It doesn't take too long to do, and then yeah, you can make some levels, and there you go. I'm not really in it for making levels myself, to be honest, but I do like playing what other people have made. My biggest problem with the game is that it keeps sending me fucking emails.
Right.
It's like, hey, come and make a level in Levelhead. And but like, they're all themed in the meta narrative of the game, and like, it is pretty fucking relentless.
Yeah.
And they're all like, here we go, like,
What are you
The
doing? You're not
fresh
doing
smell of a
anything.
daily build. And then it's like, to do the daily build, here's a memo challenge. And then get your level noticed with this one weird trick is the subject of an email that sent me. And it's all fucking big fucking like letters, big fonts and all this kind of shit. And it's like fucking yeah. And then another fucking email. You know what's spicy? Good levels. And I'm like, fuck off. Stop sending me emails. Holy, I have never had to put a fucking video game on my fucking spam filter before, but that's what I have to do now, you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I cannot believe we've come to this. Yeah, so that's pretty aggravating. But no, some of the levels, actually the levels people make like vary wildly. I don't know if this is, I haven't played Mario Maker. I played it very briefly when it first came out, but I didn't have it. It was on someone else's fucking. Someone gave me their Switch to play on their fucking on their level. I haven't played a lot of it, so I don't know if this is common in Mario Maker, but in Levelhead, people do. I know it is common to do those like troll levels where you like jump and there's a fucking roof,
A block,
and
invisible
you fall to your
block or
death.
something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. These like this appears like they promote levels as like the daily level, the best level of the day or some shit. And I played one on the first day I was playing the game. I played the fucking first daily build or whatever the fuck they're called. And it was it had like a teleport, and you jump into the teleport and it would take you to a room that you couldn't get out of. And you would restart the level, and then you'd jump and you'd enter a different teleport. And it was just a series of teleports to rooms that you couldn't get out of.
Hmm.
And I'm like, cool. Well, I'm never doing this again. But I tried one more daily build, and it was actually a pretty good level. It was very long. Yeah, like obviously I've only tried 2 daily build levels, but I've tried a bunch of other levels outside of this. But it's just weird that they would pick like these are the curated levels. These are their fucking selects.
Yep.
And they're like, oh yeah, do the one where you get teleported into a bunch of unwinnable rooms, or do the one where you're playing for 14 fucking minutes on one fucking level, and I think there was like 2 checkpoints or some shit. I'm like, it's fucking insane. Yeah, just weird curation. I think normally you want to curate it in such a way that people are, introduced to the best of what the game has to offer.
Sure.
And if the best of what the game has to offer is teleporting you into a room where you die, I don't know if that's or you don't die, you just like wait out eternity. I don't know if that's a great showcase. Anyway, yeah.
Levelhead. Speaking of Game Pass, while you brought it up, I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 again. Not on Game Pass, but it is coming to Game Pass, which is still really weird to me because it is obviously an excellent game. Some would say it is Game of the Year caliber type of game. Some would. The others that didn't would be wrong, but that's okay. You can be wrong. So yeah, that's coming to Game Pass, and I've been playing a stack over the last week, because last week I was talking about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I mentioned how it just was, I just couldn't get into it, the sort of the world and what it was doing, and since then, like, I've been basically smashing out a couple of hours every day of Red Dead, and it's one of those games where yeah, last time I played it was back in January, and it's so easy to just jump back into. There's not like, it's not one of those games where you leave it for a week or two, you come back and you're like, man, what are the buttons? Like, how do I do that thing? You kind of just jump in, and the basics, it's a very basic game to control, and you can just get in, and there's just so much that you can do. Because everything is sort of mapped to your that one button, right, where you can, like the action button, you can look at people and you press that, and that's kind of like your interaction. You can either aim your gun at them, or you can greet them, or you can try and taunt them. You know, these sort of one buttons that are like context sensitive depending on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's really easy. So you just kind of walk around this world and interact with it, and you're like, yeah, cool. I know what I'm doing. And the story is really easy to jump back into. It's because just the characters are so well done, and getting like familiar with all these people in your your posse or your team, and getting to interact with them is just like, I feel like there's not been uh, another game this generation that's done it that well. Like, I honestly believe at this stage, it has to be the game of this generation, just because of how much it pushed that sort of genre. There's obviously stuff you can look at in terms of um, games that have maybe pushed gaming forward, like a Fortnite or a PUBG, like those type of things. Like, you look at a Minecraft and like what Minecraft did for back in the, you know, the Xbox 360 and that sort of stuff. If we're looking at like biggest impactful games, then I'd think of like a Fortnite type of game, like what that did, transcending to like a whole new level, where you've got like, I don't know if you saw this the other day, the concert they did in the middle of the game, and like it was, I think it was Travis Scott, and
Travis Scott.
like insane, nuts. They've done things before where they've had like Star Wars trailers in the fucking game, and just like all the crazy things they can do in that game. Anyway, but I think in terms of like pure gameplay, how far we have come, I think Red Dead Redemption 2 has sort of, that is like the pinnacle for me, just because of how that world feels so realized, and how much you can really do in it. So yeah, I'm having a blast replaying that. I've just gotten up to maybe the weakest part of the game. For spoilers, people haven't played it, but you're no longer in the main area. You kind of get shipwrecked off somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm at that part. But for the rest of it, like, it's awesome. I love just exploring. There's things I haven't seen in that game before still, and just coming across that, being like, all right, that's cool. Don't remember that before. I think one of them was these two. This fat dude sitting out on the balcony, and like he invites you into his house, and his wife or girlfriend or something is like there, and they're like, come and have some food and all this sort of stuff. And there's like this whole interaction that can take place over multiple series of interactions if you wanted to. But like that sort of stuff, I didn't run into that last time. Just things like that where you are out in the world and you can play this game for 150 hours and find something new every time you jump in there. And that's what I like about it so much. So I'm digging it a lot. It's definitely gotten a lot easier to aim, because I remember that being a problem when I first jumped into it, being like, oh yeah, because there's no like auto targeting. But as you sort of increase your level for Deadeye and that sort of stuff, it becomes a little bit easier, because each time you sort of upgrade that, it's like, oh, now you can paint targets, or now you can activate Deadeye without having to paint targets. You can kind of just shoot. So that becomes a lot better. So I'm digging the combat immensely on the PC. It's a lot of fun. Riding your horse while shooting people is really cool. I think I changed the controls of the horse riding because I didn't like the default ones. Didn't feel great, but I've got it to a point where it feels really awesome now. It seems like they've improved horse riding a lot. I remember when I played on PlayStation, there was a lot of me running into trees, and I don't know if that was just because I was bad at it, and I've gotten better. But
the spaghetti video.
Yeah, but I feel like there was a couple instances where I'd be riding through a forest, and then he'd just go smack bang into a tree, and I'm like, well, all right, fair enough. I guess I'm dead. That hasn't happened once at all. So I think they've like tweaked that a little bit. I see him trying to dodge trees quite a lot. Like, he'll brush against them. So I think they've nailed that. So yeah, I don't know. If you've not played Red Dead 2, you must play it. Check it out on Game Pass if you don't have a PC. Otherwise, yeah, it's awesome. It's really good. I can keep playing it. It's like sort of my, got a couple hours. I got nothing going on. I'll jump on at night and play Red Dead for a bit. It's been a lot of fun.
That sort of don't have time to play fucking Apex with Joab and Kleb.
Because I was cooking dinner, I think.
You're cooking dinner, and on fucking Discord it says Luke Lawrie is playing Red Dead Redemption 2.
That's because I can pause it and then go do stuff and then come back for 3 minutes and then ride my horse and then pause it and then go away. I can't do that in Apex.
I fucking think I didn't see you fucking up to your old fucking tricks.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about Apex while we're there?
Sure.
While we're up to it.
Yeah.
Apex is they released a new like character, hero.
Legend. I think it's called
Legend.
That's in the title.
That's it. I remembered eventually. Yeah, they released a new Legend, and I don't understand the fucking point of her. I don't understand what she's supposed to bring to the table, except for a little bit of escapability. She's got this thing she can throw and teleport to. But yeah, I don't really get why she exists outside of that, to be honest. She can steal items or like drag in items from a large radius, but I don't understand what that brings to the table either necessarily. Like slightly shortening the loot phase doesn't strike me as the most effective, I guess, like tool in your arsenal once the shit starts flying later in the game. You know, like it feels like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it's that good.
But what if you're say the loot phase is over, you're getting towards end game, and you're held up in a building? It's one of those things where you can pop it down and like, oh, I need a new shield, or I would like some more grenades, or anything like that. It seems like you'd use it in that sort of situation as well.
Doesn't it show up on the fucking map though?
I've not played it, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, like it seemed like it showed up on the map, so it'd just sort of also be a big fucking beacon as to where the fuck you are.
But if people are fighting you already, then does it matter much?
No, 100%. But then, like, if people are fighting you already, do you really have time to fucking dump a thing and then scroll? Because it grabs everything. You can select 2 things from it. So you got to scroll for a little while to find some shit. They've slightly improved the UI for looting. Okay. But like, yeah, like it's still a fucking ton of stuff for you to fucking go through. I don't know. I just don't really get her utility. It seems like I don't know. I didn't. So Kleb and I played 7 or 8 games. 8 games, but like we played 8 games. We won 3. We're in the top 5. Top 3, I think, for another 2. And then the other games, if we didn't make top 3 or win, we died on drop. Basically, that's essentially what happened every single time. The first game, I insisted that Kleb land in this big fucking portal thing, and it was a bad idea because I'm 100% all Call of Duty Warzone keybinds now.
So you're just mashing F. Enemy
oh
here.
My god. Enemy here, enemy here. And there's like fucking 16 billion motherfuckers around me because apparently everyone goes for the big portal thing. And I'm like standing on top of a fucking gun, like trying to fucking pick it up. I'm like, pick up the gun, pick up the gun, pick up the fucking. I'm like, enemy here, enemy here, enemy here. And I'm like, I'm gonna fucking die. Somehow I didn't die. So I start like, I pick up the gun, turn, like blap some motherfucker, and then I piss bolt. Right? I just fucking piss bolt. Except you also move, about, I don't know, 50% of the speed that you move in fucking Warzone. I don't know what it is. You feel so fucking slow. Like I'm just like in treacle or some shit. I'm like,
it's because there's a sprint button.
Yeah. So I just want to get around this fucking corner. Please get around the fucking corner. Oh my god! And there's like gunfire coming in. I'm like, just get around the fucking corner. No, too slow. Too slow to get around the corner. I get fucking down. Kleb's already dead. The other guy on our team's already dead. So the next game, some fucking we don't have a third for some reason. Someone's apparently cooking dinner. So we're like, and we can't get duo games to pop at all. So we're just randoming up with a third person. And the second game, this dude like just hot drops us, and it's like a super fucking hot drop.
What is the new hot drop?
Anywhere underneath the path. Like the first named location directly underneath the path. That's the hot drop. And so in this case, it was water treatment. There were about fucking 5 teams all on water treatment. Like it seems like it is just hot drops. After no, that wasn't the water treatment. We won the water treatment game. After where did we land on that one? We landed somewhere fucking. Oh yeah, we landed on fucking artillery.
Okay.
And it didn't work out for us. Every other game, like when I would be jump master and I'd direct us and make us land somewhere, we'd land like sort of cold. It wasn't on purpose cold. I was trying for medium hot, but like it is now, it appears there is no medium. It is you land hot, right, with 7 other teams, or you land with nobody. And by the time you are walking into the first circle, there are only 7 teams left. Like everyone else is fucking dead. Like there's 21 people left in this fucking game. You're like, what the fuck has happened? Like everyone's dead.
Not
which
like
was
Warzone,
pretty fun.
where you're like, there's 54 people left at the second last circle.
It's yeah. There's 6 fucking rugby teams left on this thing. Oh, and I guess another rugby team is dropping back in. And I've got 15 bullets left. Maybe I can go buy a munitions box or something. No, this like, there's nobody fucking left. I'm like, I don't know. But yeah. So eventually we got a bit of the swing of things. They nerfed my boy. The grapple hook on Pathfinder is fucking.
It's like 35 seconds now or something, isn't it?
It's fucking crazy. That is such a huge. Like that's more than double. It's fucking insane. I think they went a bit too ham on that one.
I think they'll bring it back down.
They have to.
Maybe like 20.
He's my boy.
25.
Yeah, that'd be reasonable.
They buffed my hero though, which is good.
Who?
Mirage. I play a lot of Mirage.
Do you?
Yeah.
Weirdo.
Like
he doesn't seem too bad. I didn't take control. Kleb was taking control of one of the holograms. I didn't feel like it was a good use of my ult.
Sure.
But I do think perhaps it would give the ults a little bit of utility outside of the panic button. Like I think that's what they're trying to do, right? Like instead of just using the ult as a panic button to get out of shit, now you could sort of pop it and then use it like that fucking the new operator in Rainbow Six.
Sure.
Whatever the fucking name is.
But you can use it to scout as well. Like I think it's 2 minutes. Something stupid. You can control it for 2 minutes. I need to get the patch notes up, but it seems excessively long.
Yeah. So, but like that's it is very much too long. But that's sort of how the new Rainbow Six, that chick with the fucking hologram, right? Like, she sort of runs around and like looks like a real character type thing. It's a pretty cool idea. And then you would obviously not just use it when you're about to fucking die. But yeah, I did have a game as
60
Mirage.
seconds.
We did not win that game. We had this dude, our third. When we're like, I just got to remember when playing with a random third, the only thing to keep in mind is that you watch the other person's back and forget the fucking rando. Because the reason we would have won that game, there were 3 teams left, and our rando decided to. I pushed to move in the circle. Our rando decided to engage with one of the teams while we knew for a fact that the third team would have to was coming through. Like they were not already in the circle. So it was basically a guaranteed
third party.
Like we were definitely getting third partied. And I should have just let it die. I should have just let him fucking die and gone to the circle and picked off whoever won when they tried to come into the circle. Because there was only one way into the circle from where that third party fight happened, but sadly we didn't make it work. So yeah, we didn't win that game, but top 3 again. The games we won, we had one really fucking awesome game with a really, really good like third person in our trio. Like a good third rando. This guy I made his drop at what's that? There's that little area near Repulsor, like that. It's sort of between Repulsor and water treatment type area, a little outcropping. I made his drop there, and he was like, "Oh, what are we doing? Why are we dropping so fucking quiet?" And it was because we had not had good luck at that point, up until that point. But we what's that big cage thing? Is it just called the cage?
It's called the cage.
All right. Yeah, we rolled it up into the cage to continue our battle, and yeah, we fought around there for fucking ages. But yeah, he was like, this, whatever the fuck his name was just going on and on about how we were playing like pussies and blah blah blah. Well, maybe not on and on. He said it once. That was enough for me. Anyway, by the end, he finished with the fewest kills and the least damage because he did not go in like he would. He was definitely running towards action, and then when he would get to action, he'd like have a little spurt, and then he'd duck back away and like run off. He would like very hit and run, and he wouldn't like stay and finish any of his fucking fights. Meanwhile, Cleb and I are just like fucking. All right, well we're in. So yeah, we wound up fucking blapping, which was pretty good. Doing a bunch of damage. That was our first win. It was around the cage. That cage fight just seemed to go on and on and on. I reckon we wound up being 5th partied, and I think we were technically we were third party, and then another team came, another team came, another team came, and the last team arrived. They tried to go in on us, and we wrecked them, which was good. It worked out pretty well. But yeah, so we won that game. It was good. And then the second game was not as good. I put it up on fucking Twitter, a screenshot of the win. Let's see if I can find the fucking stats. So we got back-to-back wins, and our rando was OCJJ, who got 0 kills and 0 damage dealt. And I got 0 kills and 155 damage dealt. And Cleb got 1 kill and 218 damage.
So well-earned victory.
But the thing about this round was we were hunting. Like, we were looking for people constantly. It's not like we camped in one spot. We started at fucking Repulsor, And we made our way all the way up to fucking just south of Artie. And then we looped back like past where we'd already we were like this entire time. We went basically from the bottom of the map to the top of the map, and we didn't hear a single gunshot. There wasn't a single fucking gunshot. And we didn't I don't think we landed that far away from the fucking like the line. We weren't like super cold dropping. We landed like there was just nobody. And we like spanned the fucking map trying to find people. Couldn't even hear gunshots. It was fucking ludicrous. And then finally, right at the end, it's like there's only 2 teams left. What the? And it wasn't just 2 teams left. It was a single person. And it's like, all right, fine, I guess. And we killed him. But yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah. Pretty funny. And we got another kill. Another win. I don't really remember the circumstances around that win.
Right.
But I had fun. Like, eventually, I got back into the swing of how Apex works, and it was good stuff.
New map changes. Kings Canyon.
Yeah.
Skulltown's gone. Base flooded.
Yes.
And Thunderdome, right?
And Thunderdome is gone as well. It sort of closes off the map a little bit as well, so there's not much as much space, which I think squishes people in a bit more, which I think is a good idea. There were a couple of things I didn't really understand. These giant like pads around the place, I didn't really understand what they did. We guessed that maybe they auto recharge shields.
The charge stations.
Is that what they do?
The charge towers give you a full ultimate ability. For anybody that's standing inside the radius, activates the tower.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. That's a cool one. Yeah, I didn't really notice that much like worth paying attention to, I guess, outside of the area that was flooded. I think is very noticeably changed. But most of the rest of the map is pretty it's minor things at most. But yeah,
there's like an underground lab now.
Oh yeah, that's where the fucking portal goes to.
Okay.
This underground lab.
Yeah. Other changes they put in there, a lot of changes to some of the characters I use. Bloodhound got some changes. Caustic, his traps no longer harm your teammates, which is massive buff, huge buff.
Yep.
Sorry, no longer slows teammates. Yep. So I'm guessing the vision is still different. The other one they got here is caustic traps no longer triggered from the other side of a door, which means you can put them behind a door, and when someone walks up to it, it's not going to trigger before they open it, which is really good. Yeah, and there's what else is there? Reconnect feature, which finally, they were very stubborn about that, not to put it in.
Very weird, yeah.
But that solution is in there now, and then there's quest systems, and
it is basically a visual novel. It's just text on a screen.
Yeah.
I don't really know what it added at all. You find a treasure chest, and I think that unlocks the ability to do the quest. But yeah.
Right, and then they're going to have some sort of PvE events during the season 5, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, it seems like some good changes. It's still going. I definitely want to jump in and check it out. But are there any guns that you're feeling have been maybe?
Oh, they switched out the fucking. They switched out the Mastiff is now a regular found gun, and the Peacekeeper is now a drop gun.
Yeah, right.
Which is different, and it comes with all its attachments. I killed that solo player. Oh, I didn't get the kill because fucking Kleb got the kill, but I did all my damage with that fucking Peacekeeper. It was it should have been the last damage, but Kleb the snake. It was yeah, it's a good weapon. I've always liked the Peacekeeper. It's a bit weird because I think it sort of negates the use of that fucking the attachment that it uses, the one that the triple take also uses, or whatever.
Double
Precision
shot.
bolt. Precision.
Oh.
Yeah, like I don't know, now that's only useful for one fucking weapon. Which is a bit weird. But otherwise I just stuck to my old faithfuls. What do they call it? The fucking the Star Trek Stargate gun. Stargate gun. P90, whatever the fuck it's called in game. That and either the
alternator
carbine or the R99. Yeah, I never use any different guns. That's probably the biggest problem with Apex is that there is not a lot of reason to diversify your weapon portfolio. You want to use what you're comfortable with, and so generally you just hunt until you find what you're comfortable with. Because they're all doing very similar amounts, just in slightly different ways.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway,
cool.
Yeah,
I'm keen to jump back in, check it out.
Yep.
Awesome.
Sweet.
I might talk about a couple of games quickly. I don't have too much to say about them. Been playing more Beat Saber, playing some custom songs. The only difference is that they dropped an update the other day, and for whatever reason, I guess whenever you the game is patched, you need to then reinstall the mods or reapply the mods or something like that. So I had to go and do that. But before I did that, because I didn't actually notice that they disappear, I felt like the game was a little bit laggy, or like there was something wrong with the audio sync. Like it just felt very slightly out of sync.
Right.
And so I ended up reinstalling all the mods that I had back on there, and it still felt like it was out of sync. And I don't know what that is. I've had to look into it a little bit. Other people have had that problem, and like the suggestion is to like reinstall the game, and that will correct it. But anyway, like it just seems like a giant hassle that I couldn't find anything in the Reddit thread or the discussion forums that said this new patch added in some weird latency issues or some weird lag. It just seems to be like a consistent thing where every once in a while the game just needs to be reinstalled or something like that. So that's a bit of a pain. I don't know if you've had that before with the game, but
no, I haven't. No, definitely not.
It was really slight delay where the moment I started playing that, the first time I jumped in, I was just like, this doesn't feel right. Like it feels like it's out of sync or something. And that's when I went back to the main menu and was like, where are my mods gone? Okay, that's strange. And then so I went back out, reinstalled the mods, and I was like, I must be that. And then it was still the same. I was like, man, this is okay, something's not right. So then, like, it wasn't just the one song that was happening either. It was like a bunch of different songs. So anyway, I still haven't fixed that yet, but I want to get in and hopefully can sort that out, because it's kind of fucking with my experience of that game at the moment, which kind of sucks because it's a rhythm game, and if it's out of sync, it's a bit crap. I feel like there's a calibration tool or something I was reading up you can kind of do.
Okay.
So I need to go see if that's a thing that's in there. But otherwise, yeah, I haven't had a chance to play any other VR games as of yet. I was pretty close on checking out Boneworks, but so I don't know, man. Like something about the art style doesn't appeal to me. It just looks very plain.
Get the fuck out of here. Just go play Boneworks. Motherfucker.
Yeah. The other game I've been playing is a little bit of What the Golf, which is a mobile game. Have you ever checked this out before?
No.
Right. It's on Apple Arcade. It is extremely weird, this game. I guess it's a golf game. Like the first level is you standing on a course hitting a ball, except like every time you go to a new course, it gets weirder and weirder. Like the guy will go to hit the ball and then he'll miss and then launch himself towards the tee, towards the hole. and then you've got to like throw yourself towards the hole, and then like, oh, you get the the par 3 or whatever, and then you go to the next map, and it's like completely different type of style of game, like a mechanic. And you're doing something even crazier. Like now you're throwing the golf club, or now it's like a like it's got nothing to do with golf, and it's something completely different. It's just one of those weird games that every time you play a new level, it gets stranger and stranger. And it's not really a golf game, like it is, but it's not. I thought I was going to get a putt game, and that's not what it is.
Yeah.
It's like one of those. Oh man, what was that? Like frog fractions, right? Or like you think you're getting one game, and then the more you play it, the stranger it gets, and the more weird shit starts happening. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? So it does that, but every hole that you do go to in this game has like a par number, like how many times do you need to get from point A to point B, and how many turns does it take to do that? Like there is some sort of scoring system that's happening, but every time you go to a new hole, it's just like a different type of puzzle you need to solve. And that's what I really like about it. So I don't know where it's going, but I'm extremely fascinated by the game and what it's doing. If you want to check out like a trailer or something on YouTube just to sort of see.
Apparently it's coming to Steam. I'm looking at the Steam page now, and
it's just so weird.
It looks fucking loony.
Yeah. But that's what I kind of like about it, is that I didn't know anything. I didn't know that. I thought it was going to be a golf game, and it's not. So, I mean, unless you think of golf of getting the ball on the hole, like, I guess that's kind of what you're doing every puzzle, but still, it just gets crazier and crazier. So, yeah, really recommend that. I don't know when it's coming to Steam,
it says
soon.
Planned release date 2020.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, I have heard that it is on
Switch on May 21st.
Okay. Well, that's soon. That's next week. But it's available on, it looks like, Switch, iOS, and
Apple Arcade.
Yeah, it's on Apple Arcade. So
and soon to PC. That's it.
Oh
no, it says play it on PC. Maybe it's on Epic Games. Right. It's on the Epic Game Store.
Yeah.
It's coming to Steam sometime this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely different. The other game that I've been checking out, I'm replaying God of War as well. The first time I played this was on the PlayStation 4. I'm now playing it on PlayStation 4 Pro. So in 4K, 30 FPS. I think it's called graphics mode or something like that.
Right.
There's like two modes you can sort of switch between. There's like a performance mode, which jacks it up to 60 frames per second, but I think it's running at 1080p. I haven't looked at the actual specs, but that's kind of what I'm thinking it's doing. But I thought I'd just check it out in 4K. And it looks outstanding in 4K, HDR, all that sort of stuff. And I'm having a ton of fun playing that one, sort of going back through that world. It's really cool. Just the storytelling in that game as well is outstanding. The performance by Jeremy Davis, who plays the stranger, is so good. Like that first interaction with him at Kratos' house, when he sort of just like, there's like a moment where he kind of like slaps Kratos in the face or like backhands him, and then they kind of have this tussle between the two, and then obviously things escalate very quickly from there, but just like his introduction is so good, and like the character he plays there. Like I don't think I ever put the two and two together that it was Jeremy Davis when I first played it, and it wasn't until afterwards, or like you get to the end credits or whatever, and you're like, oh shit, like you can hear the guy's voice, and it even looks like him a little bit as well. And so once you actually see, you're like, oh yeah, okay, cool. I get it.
Like looking at his picture, I'm like, oh yeah, that's who it is, right?
Yeah. I know him he was in Lost, but I guess a lot of people would know him from, I think he's in Justified as well.
Is he?
But he's been in a bunch of stuff. But anyway, he's awesome in that game, and so is a lot of the other characters. But I'm digging it at the moment. I'm still working my way through.
I think
And
you're
obviously,
thinking of Walton Goggins.
no, I thought, what was he in then?
Saving Private Ryan? Twister?
No, I
Unless
thought
I'm looking
Jamie
at the wrong
Davis
person.
was in Justified. Because I think oh, okay. Yeah, it says here Justified. It comes up when I search for it.
Who the fuck is he in Justified?
I don't know. It says he had a recurring role in it. He was also,
I do not.
and he was in it for 4 years. So I don't know. Dickie Bennett. I don't know who that is.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, yeah, my bad. Okay, I remember now. All right, fine.
Anyway, yeah, he's awesome. I really like him. The performance he's got in that game. So I don't know, man. I'm having a lot of fun with God of War on the PlayStation. It's good to sort of, there's not a lot happening at the moment. Not a lot of games coming out of this stage. So going back and playing some really good games has been a lot of fun. Just when I've got a couple of hours to spare at the end of the night, if I want to sit in front of my TV and play God of War, if I want to just sit in front of the computer, I can jump in and play some Red Dead. It's been good. So that's that. Cool. You got a couple more in here?
I got a couple. Groundhog Day, like father, like son. You talking about VR constantly has got me thinking about VR games that I've got that I've never played.
Cool.
Groundhog Day, I think it was last week anyway. So yeah, I figured I'd give it a fucking squiz.
Yeah.
It's technically a sequel to the film. You play
right. An official sequel?
I believe it's like sanctioned, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And you play Bill Murray's character's son, and you go to Groundhog Day and you find yourself trapped in the same day over and over again on a day when you are supposed to be dedicated or part of a ribbon cutting ceremony for a statue to your dad, who is apparently a big deal in and at Gobbler's Knob. And yeah, you find yourself looping back over and over again through time. And it's, yeah, I guess pretty interesting, I guess. You know, it's a little bit rigid in the way it does things. Like, it turns out the worst part about being stuck in a time loop would be having to listen to the same unskippable dialogue sequences over and over again, as if and like, I guess in the film, you know, there are a lot of different things that Bill Murray's character finds himself able to do. You know, he runs into Ned, what's his face, the insurance guy, Ryerson, and like punches him, or you know, like he interacts. The variety of ways in which he deals with Ned are like quite a lot of different ways, and you don't have the same ability. You sort of just like, you come downstairs after waking up to that fucking Sonny and Cher song, and you're stuck listening to your mum yap again.
Yeah.
And then she takes the phone call again, and you sort of just, you're not like, you don't have to stand there and listen, but like, she will deliver all of that dialogue again. You can't make her shut the fuck up, as far as I can see. And like, what you're supposed to be doing is using that time to accomplish other things. There are a number of things in that room that you have to accomplish, so that, and it has like a flow-on effect. You want to make like a smoothie and some breakfast, and I think you want to. I didn't work it out, but I think you want to open up a window so that a snowball doesn't smash the window, and there's a couple of different things that you want to do, and like you have to hunt around and like sort of mentally catalog all the things you need to get done. Yeah, before you can move on to the next section. And
Right.
if it's annoying if any of them fail, and
Sure.
it's like hard to work out exactly what triggers success versus failure on a couple of them, because when you fail, you have like it's not like you can just revert like to revert time. You have to loop the day again. You have to go all the way back again. It's not, and it's not like in Edge of Tomorrow where you can just fucking grab a gun and then like fucking reset, which they do a couple of times in Edge of Tomorrow. Instead, you just have to wait for it to wait for your failure to play out, type thing.
Right. Yeah.
Which,
So you can't kill yourself. That
as far
sort of
as I
thing,
can see, I didn't find any way to kill myself.
which is actually a
Which
part of the movie.
yeah, it's a pretty big fucking part of the movie. Which is annoying, but yeah. Otherwise, it's a cool idea. Maybe
Yeah.
you do find a way to kill yourself, and that would make the game like as macabre as the idea is. It would make the game a lot fucking better because you would be able to like not only do you recognize very quickly when you fucked up, like when you do the first things a couple of times, you recognize pretty early on that you fucked up, and you're like, okay, well, I need to reset. Like you'd be able to reset in that moment.
Sure.
But yeah, you just can't, and it just drags things out significantly.
So, is it you like in a puzzle box where theoretically you'd be able to solve the game in one go if you didn't know anything about it, or is it sort of like gated to the point where you're solving a puzzle and then once you solve that you sort of reset and that opens up another thing, or is it like everything is available from you at the start, you've just got to figure it out? Do you know what I mean?
No, it's pretty gated. Like for like the first thing you have to do is make a smoothie, right?
Yeah.
You won't know that you have to make a smoothie until your first loop. After your first loop,
right?
Like you couldn't know that you had to make a smoothie, or you couldn't know. I guess you could know the details of the smoothie, but by the time you find out what the smoothie requires, I think the timing of it is such that you would never be able to make the smoothie. Like I think you basically have to loop. You couldn't solve this puzzle without looping, I think.
Right.
Unless you actively knew, like if you were sitting there with a fucking walkthrough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if I had a guide, or if you finished the game and then went and started a brand new game and knew exactly what you needed to do, could you do it in one loop? Or is it like?
No, I'm pretty sure you could.
Yeah, that to me is interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not interesting. It's just a little tedious in its execution.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that looks pretty cool. So that's $15 on Steam, $15 US. It's available on it looks like PlayStation as well, PlayStation VR.
Right. Nice.
Awesome. What triggered your interest in that? Did you just like?
I bought it ages ago. Yeah, I think it just popped up as a recommended game. I'm like, sure, I'll check that out. I watched the trailer, and it's got enough of Groundhog Day to trigger the nostalgia, and it looks.
Do they have the
interesting.
song?
I think one of the awards. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Do you think that was the most expensive part?
And it just plays over and over and over. Probably. I think it's licensed by Sony and stuff. So
yeah.
But yeah. All right, so we've also got Betrayal Legacy up on this bitch. So This is one of the games that I played with other people. I was able to go visit some friends, and this is a crew of people that are like we played the entirety of Betrayal Legacy with,
Cool.
and we are really fucking close to the end. Really fucking. I think we got 2 more games, and we'll have finished Betrayal Legacy. And I'm gonna feel really sad when that happens because I think Betrayal Legacy might be my favorite board game, like
Mhm.
flat out my favorite board game. I think it's such an interesting um, like idea, and it's largely very well executed. Most of the time, it's very well executed. Although we did run into, I thought this was really weird. We ran into, we had a haunt. So the way Betrayal Legacy works is, it's Betrayal at House on Haunted Hill or House on the Hill or whatever the fuck it's called. Betrayal, uh, a pretty classic board game where you explore a house, and after a certain amount of time, a haunt begins. And when the haunt begins, generally someone becomes a traitor. And when that person becomes a traitor, they're trying to kill everyone else in the game, and everyone else is trying to either kill them or solve something so they can succeed. And it like, because it's a legacy game, all these other things happen. You know, you add sticks to the board, or you destroy tiles, parts of the house become inaccessible, all that kind of stuff. It evolves over the course of the game, but it's all driving towards, largely the same thing. It plays out very much the same way, except every haunt is different. One haunt might have, what do we have? There was some sort of fucking hell hounds running around, and you had to avoid the hellhounds while sealing them back into hell. Or there was a horse, and it was controlled by the traitor, and the only way, like, the horse would kill everyone. It was too powerful, but if you killed the traitor, the horse would go away. So you had to go kill the traitor, and the traitor didn't want to die, obviously. And like, it plays out different every single time. One thing we had right near the end was, uh, so the first game we played was we had a secret traitor,
Mm.
and I generally do all the reading. I read out like everything in the book, and then um, yeah, we sort of just go based on that. So in the first haunt, we had a secret traitor, and it said, like, right at the end of the description of this haunt, that the secret traitor would only be revealed. They would know who they were, um, but they would have to, like, they'd accomplish their goal towards the end. Of like, they could basically, once they died, they'd be able to reveal that they were the secret traitor, and they'd be able to take control of a frankly overwhelming number of cultists. And the cultists were not that difficult to kill, but because it's a dice game, there is an element of RNG involved. And because of the way the rest of the haunt was set up, the non traders had to basically um, sacrifice their own health to close these essentially portals, and then like close this giant portal, basically, like set up these runes around the basement and then go close the portal on the top floor. The thing was, the thing of it was, so it said, once the trader dies, uh, have the trader turn to the next page. And like, or not once the trader dies, have the trader, like, it was just have the trader turn to the next page. But it was very adamant that they were a secret trader, and so we couldn't. Like, we weren't sure how to do it. Right? We were like, okay, well, someone's the traitor, right? But they don't want to reveal who it is by taking the book and reading the fucking traitor shit. And also, it seems like because it's a secret traitor, they're supposed to have secret goals. So we won't tell them. We don't want to go through the secret goals as a group because then we'll know the secret goal, right? It was just poorly worded, right?
Sure.
And it turned out that there was the trader player felt that they only had one option on how they could succeed, which was to die. And then they could take control of all the cultists and murder us, which it seemed like was correct. And then after we finished, it turned out there was something else they could do that would dramatically improve their chances of winning, which on one hand, they already had really high chances of winning. The only reason the non-traders, the regular people, we won this haunt. We beat the trader, but the only reason we won was because we played it so fucking slick. You get a bunch of items and you can combine items in very interesting ways. And so basically what we did was we combined our items in such a way as to teleport me with the item we needed to close the portal, but I also had to have an item that allowed me to ignore all obstacles. And once we did that, I was able to then I still it was still a dice roll, but I would have had to fucking it would have been a spectacular failure if I'd fucked it up. Yeah, and we managed to win. If I'd failed that dice roll, we would have lost 100%. Literally all balanced on this one dice roll because we'd blown everything on trying to get to this location, and I would have been swarmed immediately. Afterwards, we read that there was a very clear other way that they could go about doing the thing. And then anyway, so on the very next haunt, it tells us we've got a secret trader again, but this time it goes through how the secret it was as if they realized they'd fucked up on that previous haunt. And then so for the next haunt they had fixed it, but they never went back to fix that previous one. It was very weird. I just found it to be like an odd misstep for the game. We've had a couple of haunts that I think didn't really work out at the end of the day. The thing about having, wildly different mechanics from haunt to haunt is that it can be difficult to communicate exactly how every single thing is supposed to go down. Generally, I would say once every second session, I will wind up Googling a haunt to find out what other people did.
Yeah.
And every single time I wind up Googling a haunt, it will be it'll take me to boardgamegeek.com and it'll be like some 15-page discussion of people arguing exactly how it's supposed to work. That's the only problem with Betrayal Legacy is that there are, because it's so complex, it winds up not necessarily working out sometimes. But that said, it has generally been a spectacular fucking run. And I've really fucking enjoyed playing it. So yeah, I'm excited to play it, but I'm also a little bit sad that it'll be over soon. I need something like it. There's for me, legacy games are the shit. I don't really go there's the storytelling aspect that I really like about legacy games. We played Risk Legacy together until we fucking ruined that Risk Legacy game. And I thought the storylines that came out of our time playing that game together were far more interesting than just playing Risk. Not I wouldn't be talking about the time we played Risk together because who fucking cares? But talking about playing Risk Legacy, completely different because there's such interesting things that happen. you guys all voted to ruin the fucking game, or you all collaborated to specifically kill me, and you did it fast enough that I had to sit there fucking 90 minutes one time while you guys played Risk without me. You know, interesting things. Yeah, good times. I love legacy games, but I just don't know.
Yep.
I don't know what my next legacy game is going to be. I got Pandemic Legacy, but that one's too depressing. Can't play Pandemic in the middle of a pandemic. So yeah, I need
You
something
could.
new. It's too sad. Yeah. Anyway, so there's that.
Nice. All right.
You.
What else do we have here? Call of Duty, I think is the last one. Warzone.
Well, Warzone. Still playing Warzone. Having varied amounts of fun. I full tilted the other day. Not yesterday, the day before. What day is the day? Tuesday. On Tuesday, I tilted fucking hard. I don't know what it was. I don't know if the servers were being shit or what, but like it just seemed like nothing was going my way. I was constantly every single game I watched a kill cam on, I was killed while I was behind cover. Or I was watching, and when I shot them, there were hit markers galore. And when I watched the kill cam back, they didn't take any damage. And I'm like, this is fucking idiotic. It is so bad. The tick rate in this game is so fucking bad. That it was just aggravating as fuck. And then we're playing yesterday and we're having a lot more fun. I think it's just maybe it was. Maybe that's what it was. We got finally lag compensation was working in our favor. But no, I think I'd really like to see them do some stuff to the map and stuff. You know, like I'm starting to feel like there are parts of the map that are constantly highlighted, like featured, and far too dull to be as prominent as they are. I'm thinking of farmland, like that area between farmlands and quarry in particular. There are a lot of final circles that wind up there. It is because of its general area. If a circle tends towards the right hand side, I mean, just anywhere middle of the circle will tend to have more time being in the final circle. But yeah, if it tends towards the right, it's going to tend towards farmland, and
it's very open and flat.
It is a shitty fucking area. Yeah, they need to chuck some fucking forest in there or something, just to give a little bit of natural cover, because otherwise it becomes extremely annoying to move through. We had a fucking sick game yesterday. Actually, it nearly all fell apart. The one we won,
right? Yeah,
that was fucking rad. I don't know how many fucking kills we all got in the end. Like we fucking, I think it was like
20
18
something
as a team. I'm not sure. It was like we went ham as a trio, and yeah, it just felt like we were constantly in fights or constantly under pressure, like being pressured. But we started at quarry, and then like looped around, but the circle wound up finishing pretty close to quarry.
Yeah, like nearly where we landed.
Yeah, like real close
like
to it.
100 meters.
But we had like it's not like we hadn't been moving. We had been fucking
left.
We had like full left and then had to come back to where we'd been. Yeah. So, but yeah, that fight at the fucking warehouse was top notch, like fucking awesome shit. Just constantly under so much pressure. There's a warehouse that's sort of on the outskirts of quarry. It's usually got a buy station at it. And there must have been 4 teams on this warehouse alone, like fighting. we were in the thick of it, constantly. Like we were fighting a team there. I think we chased it down because they brought someone in, right? That's what we headed there for. And then there's we third partied a team, got in, got the kills. Then we got fourth party, and then fifth party, and like it just kept going and going and going. And yeah, we're like covering angles, buying each other armor, like just fucking like scrapping for ammo, reviving each other off the fucking floor and shit. Like, yeah, like non-stop fucking shit. But we just played it really fucking good because I think what it is at the end of the day, one of the things that I think sets games with like you, me, and Nate apart is that we all know what the other person either needs to be doing or is doing. Like when I'm thinking, okay, like Luke needs to be pushing left, you're already pushing left. That's what's fucking we've we've got very good comms, but also very good instincts that marry with the fucking playstyle, like each other's playstyle. Like it just fucking works.
Yeah, like
And
if you're, I think there was a case of where I don't remember if it was you or Nate that went down during that fight, and I was still back a little bit at a wall, like you guys had pushed up, but rather than me pushing up to where you guys are, I sit back and now I'm covering like the entirety of the left and right, where you guys are trying to like peek around the wall and shit. So when you go down, or whoever goes down, I can then cover while the other one revives, right? Whereas if I'm up there with you guys, if somebody else pushes, I don't know which side they're coming from. Like I don't know if they're coming from the left or the right, and that means that if they do push, I can start shooting at them, and that gives you guys more time to revive, right? And it's not just three of us sitting in a small spot being like, oh, we don't know what's going on. Like at that stage, it's do we even revive, or do we like what do we do here? But
yeah, or like the same fight when there was that sniper on the fucking
on the hill the entire time by himself.
Yeah, and we had to push him, but he just kept like fucking chunking you guys, and so I like climbed up in the fucking warehouse and I just suppressing fire. It wasn't even like I was maybe one or two hits here or there, but like all I was really trying to do was force him to stop fucking peeking you guys, and you guys were able to obviously close the distance. And like that was shit that just happened fucking organically. Like we just made that work. I think when we play with other people, sometimes like they're on a different wavelength and they operate like the way they operate doesn't work the same. Like they will do things. I think the main thing is that like it's communication, right? Like I played some war games last night with the third person crew, and I think we would have won our last game when like the circle sort of ended in downtown, and I managed to get one of the boys up, and like I got him back up. It was very fucking hairy, but I got him back up, and then we didn't have any armor, but we could push. If we pushed across the road, we'd be able to get into cover and inside the circle. And so I'm like, okay, I'm pushing across. And I pushed across. And I think, like, if I were to say that to you or Nate, right, I'm pushing across, you guys would follow. Or if you weren't going to follow, you would say, I'm going to stay and cover our backs, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happened instead was he stayed there was someone inside the building that we were leaving, and he wanted to secure the kill so that they didn't get us in the back while we were trying to cross. I understand what he was doing, but he didn't say it, and so I didn't know that he wasn't with me, and so I pushed a fight with two people that I wouldn't have. Right, I would have just stalled until he arrived. But yeah, like it's purely communication is one of those things. Like you just, it's just information, right? At the end of the day, all battle royales are just information games, and I think our information game as a trio is fucking top notch. And yeah, usually the games when we like do really well with our fourth are games where the communication are fucking is top notch. No, I think it's a it's a common thread. Yeah, anyway. I don't know. Still good fun. They're adding in, you now have to fucking SMS, like get an SMS when you sign up for a new account, which
On PC.
is fantastic on PC. Which is fine. There are cheaters on PlayStation stuff, but there aren't anywhere near as many. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm good. I'm happy that they're doing this because I think it's fucking necessary.
Yeah, they're thinking about how to stop, or at least, I mean, the people that are going to want to cheat are going to figure out ways to do it. But
yeah,
it's another hurdle for people that just regular people that are like, oh, I want to fuck around. Like, it's hard. It's another thing they've got to try and get past. Like, oh, I've got to get a phone now. Like, another phone that hasn't been blocked.
It is like, at the end of the day, that's what it's about, right? It is like there is a subsect of people, right, who cheat as a matter of like habit. They just want to fucking cheat. That's what they're about. They just like to cheat in games. And then there is a subset of people who what they want to do is, I'll just make a free account and see what the cheating's all about. Because they're not doing hardware bans or anything; they're just banning accounts. So yeah, I'll just see what these hacks are about. I'll have a look. And then there's another subset of people who are like, oh, I'll just do it. Oh, I just got hack killed. I'm gonna go fucking download the hacks myself and fucking troll cunts. Just fuck this shit. There's there's so many reasons why people cheat, and so many of those reasons are not for some sort of sad variant of personal glory, but you can curb loads of them with accounts that can't be easily replicated. As soon as you increase the difficulty to cheat, you curb cheating so fucking much. And so yeah, I think it's a fantastic thing that they're doing this, because it's just gonna really make those casual cheaters rethink what they're doing. And that they announced it. It's not like, oh, from next week we will be doing this. It's just from now on. That's
there's
a
no
really
warning.
good thing. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. That's the games. There's a lot.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
nice.
Been playing a big bunch. Should we kick off with the Xbox stuff, or should we talk about PUBG? I put that down.
PUBG. Oh yeah, might as well. Let's go straight into PUBG.
Yeah. New PUBG patch dropped on the test servers last night, 7.2. I was actually, for whatever reason, on their YouTube page at the time of the premiere.
Right.
And I linked it to you guys because I think someone had posted like that it had leaked, or someone was doing some data mining, and I just managed to click on the page and it was like premiering in 15 seconds, and I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. So we got to watch that live, and there's some pretty big changes coming. A lot of weapon reworks that they're putting in the game. They're trying to balance the M4 a little bit more,
right?
By, I guess, changing not only that gun but the behavior of some of the others as well, which is good. And I guess they're doing like things with the M16 and that sort of stuff, the barrel, and working with that. And then you've got, I guess, one of the other gameplay changes is the way that the what do you call them? The red gas canisters work. Um, uh, gas canisters, is that what they call them? Fuck, I've blanked. Anyway, you can use them to refill your cars. At this stage, you can also
Fuel
use them
can.
to shoot, and they'll blow up. But now you're able to get 7 seconds of fuel, and you can pour the gas out onto the ground, and you can trigger a fire with it. And
You can
that's a
shoot it,
cool.
which I
Yeah,
believe Mythbusters showed is not possible, but
but it is possible in PUBG.
yes.
So yeah, the gas cans can be the actual gas can be shot and they'll live fire. The gas stays for about 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes on the ground before it disappears. So you can set up like traps and things like that. You can also now throw the gas canister and then either shoot it while it's in midair or shoot it while it's on the ground, and it will leave a flame wall wherever it lands. So I guess they're just trying to change up sort of the mechanics behind how that works, as opposed to just being like something you can dump on the ground and then shoot it or use it to blow up the car. So that stuff's interesting. They're adding in a new like ranking system, which will be which will be changing the way the actual game plays as well. So new modifiers in terms of loot systems, the way the circles work, the amount of players that are in the actual game. So it seems to be like they're lining it more up with the competitive scene, which was previously a custom mode that you could go in and play, like an esports mode. But they've now taken that, put it into this ranked queue, and so you can, I guess, level up and earn rewards through that. And the other change that I thought was probably one of the bigger ones on here is that they have implemented exactly the same thing as what we just talked about in Call of Duty, which is you need to have a mobile account to verify your PUBG account, which is another way to negate cheaters, as we just explained. But it's only attached to certain regions and also the ranked mode.
It's only in ranked, yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's sort of
pointless.
It's, like, again, it's like, man, why they're like doing half a job?
That's it, right? Like that is literally only half the fucking job. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, it's infuriating. I haven't been back to PUBG. I cannot imagine how it would feel to move in the game now. If Apex felt slow, I've got to assume PUBG is in some slow-mo shit. But like, it is crazy to me looking back, looking at what they keep doing is just it's gutting. Like one day I would love to find out what happened behind the scenes of this game.
Yeah.
I'd love to find out the full details in some sort of like fucking Hearts of Darkness style.
Yeah.
Because something went wrong along the way. It was on track, and then it just veered wildly off course.
Yeah. I mean, it's something we've talked about a lot of like they made an excellent game, but then didn't know how to make it a service, which is what so many other games have done. And
yeah.
And even just that, like I guess that wasn't the biggest change. The biggest change is that they're trying to fix something that has been a problem with PUBG, is that it's bleeding players immensely to the point where it's now it's obviously still a very popular game, but we're talking about like at one stage PUBG was the biggest game on Steam by a lot. It's now roughly in the top 5 most days, depending on the time of day. Sometimes it drops out of the top 20, depending on which regions are playing. But they've now added bots into the game on PC, so they'll be filling in certain spots with AI controlled characters to, I guess from what I've been reading, it's to try and make other players feel like they're doing something as opposed to just getting killed instantly or all the time. Like it's trying to make the player feel more rewarded. by killing bots?
It's not good. It's not good. Like there's I don't see. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like a slap in the face for people who actually want to continue to play this game seriously. It doesn't affect us, I guess, but yeah, I think bots is it's basically throwing in the towel, isn't it? You know, like that is admitting defeat at the end of the day. There is, I mean, I could see it in Fortnite if Fortnite needed it, right?
Sure.
So I've watched my little nephew play, right? And
but that's not what PUBG is.
But that's not PUBG.
Like PUBG is supposed to be this like hardcore. I don't know. That's the word you want to use, but like really skilled, slow paced sort of game that you don't really want to be playing against bots. It's the wrong game to put them in.
Exactly.
And the only reason I think I'm sorry, I don't buy the thing they've put in here. I honestly think this is because they're struggling to fill servers.
That's exactly it. Yep.
And I guess the real tell here will be at the moment they're saying it's only going to affect certain player skills depending on where you are in that tier. And then that'll affect how many actual bots are in each match. But what's going to happen is when this thing actually goes live, how many of the pros are going to be seeing these bots running around? Like, and that'll tell us whether or not it's actually for newer players or not, or if they're just trying to fill servers up. Because I mean, if the pros are playing, well, the higher skilled players, and they're seeing a lot of bots in their games, then why are they in the games if they're for newer players? That just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I honestly think this is just to fill servers because they've had so many problems with matchmaking and trying to get certain regions filled and maps filled.
That's why I think it's a mission of defeat.
Yeah.
But yeah,
because they're dropping about 10% of their player base every month regularly. Every once in a while, they'll get a couple of when they put out a big patch, they'll get a couple of people back in, but it's been bleeding pretty constantly for basically since like January or December, the couple of months after it came out. It's at the point now where the average player base is, I think it was 3 or 4 months into early access. So this is before it went 1.0. It's pretty sad to see them get to this point, which sucks because it's an awesome game.
Yeah,
they just don't seem to know what to do with it. They had that whole weird crafting system they did with the April Fool's event. I don't know if you saw that, because that seems to be something they want to do in the game. It was like wizards and all these other sorts of things.
Sure.
And there was a crafting system behind that, and that's something that they said they want to put in the actual game. They're testing it, so I don't know. It seems like there's some big changes coming, but it feels like it's maybe too late. Like they're trying to get people to come back, but the people that want to come back aren't the people that are like, oh, you know what, that game needs bots.
Yeah.
No, what that game needed was better anti-cheat, better developer communication, stuff like that, and they fumbled completely. So that's their problem.
Yep.
Anyway, I don't like pooping on PUBG all the time, but it's just so we are. All right.
Maybe we need to remember there was a period of time when we were like, should we put a moratorium on talking about PUBG because we do it too much? Maybe we should put a moratorium on talking about PUBG because it's too sad.
Yep. That could be it.
That's it.
All right.
Cool.
Xbox 2020, the first one, started last week.
Yep. You woke up early for this.
I don't know if we call it early. It was like 9 a.m., something like that.
That's early for you. Fuck off.
It's like an hour earlier than what I normally get up. No, I actually was. I didn't actually wake up early. I was already up. I was playing. I got up and started playing something. Anyway,
Red Dead.
I'd gotten up and
Right.
started watching this, the first next generation console stream that Xbox were touting. Um, they copped a lot of flack for this is basically their first stream where they're going showing off like games for this console. Um,
Yep.
and there was a lot of miscommunication about what exactly they were going to be showing. Like hours leading up to this event, there was developers, like creative leads from the Assassin's Creed team, being like, "You sort of need to temper your expectations about what we're going to show," because people were expecting gameplay. Like Assassin's Creed Valhalla was teasing gameplay for this stuff, and like that's kind of what we were expecting. And when we started seeing some of this stuff coming out a couple of hours before, it wasn't a good sign.
Yeah.
But anyway, they kicked off this event with a bunch of games. I guess all of them were like third party titles, which is something that like not really people were expecting. It was definitely in the wording of like the text that they sent out earlier on, being like, "This is what we're doing for this event," but I don't think people kind of expected them just to do that. Like we thought there was going to maybe be some first party Xbox games or something like but that's not what they did.
No.
So anyway, should we just go through some of the games that they showed up, or
Do it.
all of them?
Yep.
Bright Memory Infinite, which is a was a first person game developed a while back by one person, which is now, I guess, an actual proper game. This might have been the only game that they showed with gameplay that looked like it could have been next gen.
Yeah.
Like it didn't completely blow me away. It did look pretty. I guess the things that sort of make it stand out is the weather effects and the wind blowing, and the lighting of the environment and the way the sort of trees move and the leaves and that sort of stuff.
I thought the fucking the UI design looked really fucking cool. I thought it had a very distinctive
Yeah.
like style to it that I thought worked pretty well.
Hmm.
But yeah, otherwise it was all graphics. I didn't think. Yeah, it was all like environmental.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Nothing gameplay. You're like, oh, that's pretty
no,
nuts. It just looked
yeah,
like shooter, pretty shooter.
yeah,
Sort of like a mix between what was that game? Bulletstorm? Is that the game I'm thinking of?
yeah.
Where you threw out like a whip and you could like grab people in midair
Not,
and do weird things from people who
yeah.
can fly. So yeah, that was one of the games they showed off. Call of the Sea was a first-person adventure game, which reminded me a lot
Oh
of
yeah, it
I
is.
guess like a Sea of Thieves vibe. That
That's
looks
not.
pretty cool.
I thought it looked kind of dull as fuck.
Really?
Like really, yeah. Like I don't know, just sort of. I don't know, because I got the feeling you weren't going to do active stuff. I got the feeling it was going to be sort of very hands off.
Walking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
So like Sea of Thieves without any of the fun.
Yeah. I just like the looks of it. The
Right.
style, the visual style looked pretty cool.
That's true. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely pretty. But yeah. Yeah.
Coarse was one of the games. It was like a flying space simulator, starfighter
Fine.
sort of dogfighting game. Um, I don't know. It didn't really do a lot for me, so didn't take
No.
much away from that. They shut off Dirt 5, which it's a racing game. I mean, Dirt 5's usually been pretty good, but
Yeah.
just looks like a pretty racing game. When we get them every generation. Madden NFL 21. They showed. I put this on my Twitter. Let me see if I can find it. How much they actually showed, because I did count it. I think it was 7 seconds.
Right. So more than Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Where is my tweet? Because I hear it. Yeah, it was a 2-minute trailer. and they showed 7 seconds of what the game looked like.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
That's
It
pretty
was basically a trailer of like, here's the original John Madden football game, and then going through the years of how graphics have evolved and sort of what the game looked like. And then the last one was like NFL 21, and it was someone like passing a ball, and it was about 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds long. So that was EA's trailer. Next up was Scarlet Nexus, which is this anime looking RPG. Didn't really do much for me.
I don't care.
Nah. Scorn. This might have been game of the show. For me, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
It's so fucking weird. It's too fucking weird, honestly. It's too weird.
There's definitely
I don't. What are you supposed to take away from that trailer?
There's definitely some like HR Geiger stuff going on there, like huge inspiration from him and Aliens and like what he did with that in terms of his visual look. But I don't know what that game was. I mean, it had dick walls, and I think it was a dick wall. That's what I get. That's what I sort of took away from it.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Seems to be maybe a horror game. It's about as much as I know about that one.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably, possibly, could be.
The other one we got here is Second Extinction, which is a dinosaur shooting game, which is apparently available on PC anyway. Right?
Yeah, it's coming to beta on PC and stuff. Yeah, sort of looks like a, I don't know, horde mode type game with dinosaurs, which
with co-op,
I fundamentally understand as a solid idea. Yeah, like 4-player co-op type thing. 4-player, 3-player, I'm not sure. 3-player co-op. But yeah, as long as the dinosaur situation gets way out of hand, I'm about it. I love my goofy shooters.
Yep. The next one was the Ascent. It's like a action RPG set in a cyberpunk world.
Is it a twin stick shooter or like a?
Well, I mean, the thing was that
like Diablo type, or
it was like a top-down type thing, because the cinematics that were showing was making it look like a something else, but then it got into the actual gameplay, and you're like, oh, okay, no, it's a top-down style game. But I think that's what maybe it is, like a Diablo style thing, possibly twin stick shooter. Hard to tell. Yeah. The next one was The Medium, which I don't know, that it looked pretty cool, I guess. It was very strange looking. It might have been one of the maybe most impressive looking games that they showed on there.
It's gorgeous. I thought it was supposed to have gameplay, but I couldn't work out what the gameplay was.
Yeah, I mean, seems to be a running theme of a lot of this stuff.
It was pretty common, yeah.
Yeah. Next up was Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, which, I'm all in for that game. Looks great.
100%.
Yep. But it didn't really show too much. There was definitely stuff in there that looked like gameplay, but it's still sort of hard to tell. Yakuza, Like a Dragon, a Yakuza game that's already out, so that's coming. And the final one was the one I guess everyone's hanging out for, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Yeah, and they didn't really show any gameplay. They're trying to pass it off as gameplay, but I don't buy it.
Yeah, I couldn't work out what was gameplay in that. I didn't see it.
Yeah, and a stylized, like, we've moved the camera to this section while this is in game, or an in-game cutscene. That's not what when someone says gameplay, that's not what I'm expecting.
Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you. Although that, I don't know if you saw the video I clipped of the axe.
Yes, yeah.
but I couldn't fucking stop. I couldn't get it out of my mind until I'd slowed that down and zoomed it in. It was like, why would you slow-mo that sequence? I don't understand.
Where
I
people can
assume
be
that was
like,
gameplay?
that's obviously gameplay. That's not a cinematic because that wouldn't
right?
happen.
Yeah. It's just so weird.
Yeah, and then you had like the developers responding to the criticism about what happened. Let me get his title right. The creative director of Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah.
What did he say? Let me try and find it. Yes, it says here, hello all. You rightfully expected to see more today. We have a long marketing campaign ahead of us. You will see in-depth gameplay and get a lot more info about the game. Thank you for your excitement and passion. Be patient with us and be kind. It will be worth it.
Right, yeah. So that's a non-answer then.
Yeah, I mean, the fault here, I think, lies on the developers and publishers of getting people's hopes up and spreading wrong information.
Yeah.
I don't agree with their wording that was gameplay. Like, I want to see what the game looks like and what it is. When Cyberpunk releases a 30-minute gameplay demo, like, that's the game. Or when Rockstar does like their gameplay trailers or whatever, they release like 15-minute gameplay demos. Like, you get to see what the game is and what people are doing. Here's the mechanics behind it and blah blah blah, like all this stuff. That is just to me like cuts. This is like a stylized cinematic of in-game cutscenes that are moved around, or whatever. Like, I can't tell what is a game and what is it, like, at that stage. So rightfully, I think they should be called out for it, because it's not a good way to do it. Anyway, but that was the show, and I honestly was pretty disappointed. Like, this is the first glimpse we get at the next generation of what Xbox is doing, and it's supposed to be the like, hey, here's what our hardware can do, and we want to sell units. Here you go. But I got none of that from this. I looked at all that and was like, nothing here is making me want to go out and buy an Xbox Series X right now. And why they would start off with that is just so strange to me. It just doesn't make any sense. Which is why last week we were talking about, oh yeah, we'll see like a Halo or something from them, like some sort of first party thing where they're like, here's the power of the Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and it's a beast. Instead, we got a bunch of third party games that like, we didn't get any of that out of it. It just looks like stuff that could be running on the original Xbox One X at this stage.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's a problem, right? Like, I think it's a problem that this hardware generation is running into. This next cross-gen hardware, whatever the fuck. Like, I remember looking at, from PS2 to PS3 and being like, holy absolute fuck, that is, MotorStorm is one of the most spectacular fucking, look at the fucking mud. Look at the fucking worlds in what was it, Resistance, Fall of Man? Like, look at these games. And like, fucking Xbox 360, Xbox One was similar, and like the transition between the generations was fucking out of control. And you're like, holy shit, now like we're looking at what they're fucking touting for this next generation, and it's like, it'll load faster, right? Like, is that the selling point? Yeah, but it's gonna load faster than ever. It looks better, right? Mostly better, but it's definitely gonna load faster, and that's what you're buying it for, because it loads faster. That's certainly very cool. And if I were console only, I would be excited, I suppose, on some level about loading faster, but it's not the most compelling selling point. And yeah, it's not the biggest differentiation point. They need to do something to showcase why the fuck we should care.
I think that they'll obviously do it, but this was a bad way to start it. This is something that you do,
saying, right? Like they need to do
the fourth one of these or the third one of these. Like, here's what our partners are doing, as opposed to here's what our partners are doing. We'll show you what we're doing down the track in 2 months, which is what they're saying at this stage. It's so weird.
Yeah, no, like they've got to show the fucking system sellers, and they should, if they want hype, the hype train to fucking continue. They need to fucking start with that. You don't start the engine with like that. What they showed was the caboose, not the fucking.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking. They were like, "Hey, here's the next generation of cars. Like, you will not believe what these cars can do. But first, we're going to show you the trunk, the boot, and then we'll come back and show you the rest of it in 2 months. But you can't see the rest of it.
All the storage space.
Yeah, look at all this. There's so much, and you're like,
that's not really why I'm buying a supercar.
Yeah, like, all right, fair enough.
Cool.
That's exactly how I felt like finishing watching that, and they're talking about hardware ray tracing. And you don't get any of that from the stuff they show.
No, not at all. Yeah.
It's just, it blows my mind. Anyway, so I was pretty disappointed, except for the wall dicks. Like, that game looks amazing. That was the best thing about that show, hands down.
Absolute genius.
And then following up from that, and I don't know if you read this.
Jack off so many fucking walls. What?
Yeah, or just the one. Just stand there and hopefully it comes to VR.
Well, it limply spurts for some reason. Why was it such a limp spurt? What the fuck?
But they also went to it like twice. It wasn't.
I know. Like,
they came back to
it. We finish with this. It's back on, baby.
That's why I had to make a video about it. I just thought it was too funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, so once that ended, IGN put up an article from Tom Marks, who is I think he's the second in charge reviews editor over there, or he might be deputy editor. I can't remember. Anyway, but basically the gist of the article was that people should lower their expectations for next generation, because he didn't believe that we're going to see as big of a leap from last, the last ones.
I didn't see this.
You didn't read this?
No, I didn't see it.
It did the rounds. I do not agree with it. I mean, I've been saying for a while that I think this is going to be a really big jump in terms of games. I think we're going to see a big jump because of the SSD is going to be massive. Like, being able to load stuff a lot quicker and stream in bigger levels without any of the stuff that's happened before. And then the lighting with the ray tracing is going to be huge. And obviously pushing it towards 4K, right, crisp images. So I think it's going to be the biggest jump that we're going to see. He doesn't agree. He thinks it's going to be not as big, but that's his opinion. And so in saying that,
I mean, I agree with him. I mean, honestly, I do. I agree with him. I don't think we're going to see it for a little while. I think eventually we will see the jump once they get a handle on the technology, but I do not think initially we're going to see that bigger jump. We're going to see the sort of jump that you see when you go from like one series of graphics card to one higher. I think that's going to be launched for these next gen consoles.
Right. And I think that's where
if I were to go from 1080 to a 2080, I'd be like, yeah, it's better. And then, obviously turn RTX on and watch my frame rate tank and be like, cool. Sweet. Finally. One day I'll get an RTX card, Luke.
One day.
Until then, I just imagine what it's like.
So you just back to that article. I think that one of the, I guess, and I think it's to the article's fault and maybe the heading of the article. What he was trying to point out was that the sort of like the launch window of this generation won't be a big jump. And
Yeah.
I think that's not really what I read into the article about. It just seemed like he thought that the next generation is not going to be as graphically powerful.
Right.
Whereas he was trying to point out, no, I mean, like at the start of the launch window, but that's not what you get out of the heading or the,
Yeah,
the
right.
intro of that. So I think it was a bit of a misstep.
Got to get them clicks.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people were driving towards. It was very clickbaity. To the point where Jeff Keighley jumped in at one stage and was being like immensely disagreeing with him, and then started retweeting his article again today after the next piece of news, being like, well, this article got old very quickly type thing.
Oh, Jeff going in.
Yeah. So Epic today revealed Unreal Engine 5 with a demo of a tech demo running in the PlayStation 5 hardware. So you just had a chance to watch this before we started recording.
Yes.
Goes for about 12 minutes or so, and it shows off Unreal Engine 5 running at higher resolution. I think it's 1440p. At it seems like it's 30 frames per second on PlayStation 5 hardware. And yeah, I think this is probably the most impressive thing we've seen in terms of what this hardware can do at this stage, this next generation hardware, because it shows off the new stuff they're doing with lighting, levels, sort of the scope of how quickly you can jump between like smaller contained areas, often to enormous areas, and then have it just streamline really quickly. So yeah, what did you sort of get out of that? And did you watch the whole
so
thing?
many fucking triangles. No, I didn't.
So many. There's a lot of triangles. They were talking
so
over bits
many fucking triangles. Holy shit! You can't believe how many fucking triangles.
There's so many triangles you can't see them.
Every frame. There's fucking triangles galore. It's fucking. It's just all over the place. It's triangles for days, baby. Fucking. Yeah. If you love triangles, you're gonna love Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, I don't know. It looks gorgeous. I think it looks gorgeous. Obviously the fidelity is fantastic. I worry a little bit. I heard them talking about baking in a lot of animations, like contextual animations.
Yeah, touching I worry that doors.
Yeah, that's going to result in a lot of games looking vaguely the same. That there will be like just is touching a door going to be the Wilhelm scream of video games for this generation or some shit? Like where you're like, oh, there it is, there's the door touch. Like you are anytime you hear a fucking scream. Which I mean, like
Naughty Dog's been doing that for a long time in their games.
Yeah. Oh, I got mad Uncharted vibes out of this this demo.
Yeah.
I was thinking. Something else I was thinking was, would you really want to go adventuring with a scarf that's longer than your own body? Because that seems like it's pretty dangerous. It seems like a choking hazard, and I don't know if it's like, obviously it's very nice to show off cloth physics, which for whatever reason I never understood cloth physics. I have never understood the gaming industry's fascination with cloth physics. They're like, I remember when they were first introduced, back when like PhysX was like first coming into the fray, and they're like, look at how these curtains hang. And I'm like, I have never in my entire fucking life noticed how curtains hang outside of video games. I don't care how curtains hang in real life. I am not going to care about how they hang in a fucking video game. And then they're like, but look at them react to the wind. And you're like, I don't care. But they're going to show physics somehow, I guess. And that's one way to do it. And so, yeah, 2 long scarves are the new shit. I didn't get much further than that, than touching the door. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to do a podcast.
So. It gets to her like flying around in a giant area. That's kind of what they explain. Like, hey, this isn't just regulated to the small contained areas. Here's a giant open world and me flying around it and shit like that.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway, like that to me is what Xbox should have done, like something like that. Like here's a demo that we've got running. Here's showing off the power of it. Instead, we didn't get that, and then Sony beat them to it. Sony and Epic beat them to it a couple of days later. And now people are like, oh, okay, this is what we're in for next generation. Me personally, I'm a little bit disappointed. I'd like to see, I want to see 60 frames per second become the norm. It doesn't look like we're getting that. There were some comments.
I don't think a tech demo fucking shows. I don't think a fucking tech demo shows fucking anything in terms of what the next generation is going to be capable of. I think, if anything, it reinforces my point that we are not going to see we're not going to see a system seller for a while. We're not going to see that initial leap, like whatever the story you were talking, the IGN story was talking about. That the initial run is not going to be all that impressive. We're not going to see this shit immediately.
But we might. I mean, right? What if?
No, if we were, we would have fucking seen it by now. They would have shown. They would have shown fucking Uncharted 5 or some shit. Right?
I think that's
it wouldn't be some fucking nameless chick doing fucking nothing to showcase this tech demo on the PlayStation 5. Tech demos are tech demos, man. Like they're built from the ground up to showcase shit. Right? There's no chance that like anything we saw was, oh, it's running live on the PlayStation 5. Yeah, it's running live on the PlayStation 5, and they ran it 40 times over the course of 1 week, and this is the best fucking version of what they just ran. And everything they did in it was so unbelievably scripted that, like, the chances of you doing exactly the same thing and seeing exactly the same stuff are zero, like actual zero. If you were to somehow get your hands on this tech demo, you would not have the same experience, despite you not being able to do anything different. You would have a different experience. That's tech demos. That's how tech demos work. Is they are vertical slices that showcase one thing and one thing alone. And like, instead of, Titanfall 2 has a level where you can jump between time. Tech demos are, this is the level where we've got 16 billion triangles, and this is the level where her scarf threatens to choke her to death while she climbs up a fucking wall. And this is the level where a bunch of bugs run away from some fucking light. Like, they're so specifically constructed that, yeah, I don't think it's... Jeff Keighley's wrong. I don't think the article age.
We'll see. We'll see. I think the article is wrong in terms of the
Jeff
way
Keighley
put it.
That's what you're doing. If you go for the Telstra game reviewer gig, you are not going to be the next Joe Gilroy. You're going to be the next Jeff Keighley, the next fucking industry hype man. Fuck yeah, do it, right? Like, dude makes money. You'd make money doing Telstra game reviewer. Like, fucking go for it. 100%. But you will not be a game reviewer. Jeff Keighley's not a fucking game reviewer. He's a hype man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not shitting on Jeff. Like, I can say that he's wrong and not be shitting on Jeff. Yeah. 100%.
Oh, we'll clip this. We'll bring it back in 7 years when the games look ridiculous. when
that's what I'm saying, right? Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the transition from this generation to the next generation is not going to look fucking good. Eventually, we will see.
Yeah, eventually. It's still going to be good. Yeah. But that's not what the article was headlined as. It was a clickbaity article.
I haven't read the article. I'm arguing my own thing. I'm just tangentially agreeing with an article because it means I get to disagree with Jeff.
Yeah. Anyways, a big week for Sony, I guess, as well. They're showing off Ghost of Tsushima tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. Sometime this week. They're doing more shade because they were like, we're showing a gameplay demo. It'll be 20 minutes. Bad week for Microsoft.
The console wars are back on.
Yeah.
Feels good. It's rich. Enriching my soul. Before we move on to the next thing, I just wanted to talk about something just arrived in the post.
Right.
I don't know if you can see this.
This is Whalebone.
Whalebone. This is actually a growler. Growlers, I don't know if you've got them over in San Fran, and you're clearly not aware of the concept when you were back here in fucking Sydney. But the growler is a jug that you can fill with beer, and it's refillable. You can take it back and get refills from wherever the fuck it is you're buying beer from. I've got a place pretty close to me called Akasha that I really like, but Whalebone's a brewery over in Exmouth in WA, and I was there last year around this time, swimming with whale sharks. It was fucking amazing. And I remember when you were leaving, we went around to your place to have drinks, and we took a growler, essentially close to a 6-pack of beer, filled with beer, and a wonderful fucking souvenir from our time in Exmouth. Took around, and you and your wife threw it out, and it has taken this long for us to fix your heinous mistake.
Right.
But I've now got another growler for more beer, and I'm extremely happy.
I like how when you tell the story, you leave out the part where you left it at my house next to the garbage bin on the floor.
I didn't leave it next to why would I put it on the floor? I left it on the bench. I presume you or your wife put it down next to the fucking garbage
Why would
bin.
you leave it there, though? Why are we leaving it
Why
there?
would I leave it at your house? Because I was drunk? What am I going to do? Carry stuff around while I'm drunk? I don't think so. That seems unlikely.
Yep.
Anyway, a tragedy has been somewhat undone.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
Back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, back to what we're talking about. The Mafia Twitter account came alive a couple of days ago. Started posting since the first time back in 2018, where it just stopped. And there were rumors flying around that a remaster was in the works, and that is apparently true as of today. That an announcement started getting press releases to honor the 10-year anniversary of Mafia. They're doing a Mafia trilogy, and there's some good stuff in here. Specifically, Mafia 1, the definitive edition, is being remade from the ground up. So it's not a remaster. They're not saying it's a remaster. They're going Final Fantasy on this shit. They're going brand new game, I guess, game mechanics. That's sort of what I'm thinking when they say it's remade from the ground up.
No, don't say this. Don't say this. No, it's just a remaster. They already fucking...
No, they didn't.
They already nailed it. Like, come on. Don't Final Fantasy this shit to me. Don't fucking do it.
Oh, the page is gone.
It is. I just clicked and it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am extremely worried. I didn't even think about it that way. I hear remake and I just think they're gonna, not fuck with the classic. But apparently, and Luke loves this, fucking with classics is the fucking way to go. Like, just let's have another fucking Ghostbusters remake, says Luke. Let's do it again.
Get that Chris guy in.
Hobbit that shit up. Damn it. I really want to fucking draw it out. Maybe make Mafia 1 into 7 different games or some shit. God damn it. I'm very upset.
Yeah.
It would.
So that is apparently coming August 27th, Mafia 1. Mafia 2 will be a remaster rather than a remake. And that is apparently arriving next week. So this stuff that we're talking about right here hasn't been announced as of yet. They're teasing it. But some store pages went up on the Microsoft's website, which has since been taken down. That's where this information was coming from. So Mafia 2 will be a remaster, so updated graphics, not a lot from the sounds of it. Some screenshots have leaked of the what the games look like. Obviously, Mafia 3 is not getting touched at all. It'll just be a part of its pack.
Yep.
Because that's a pretty new one. But the other two are getting done a little bit, whereas the first one's getting a lot of work done to it. So I'm a fan of the first two Mafia games. A lot of fun. very good.
Yeah. Mafia 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. Mafia 2 was... I thought the story was better. I thought the gameplay was a little bit worse, but yeah, I'm
And there's some
extremely
cool
excited.
moments in that game where like they intertwine with each other and they're like, fuck
yeah, 100%.
Some really good storytelling stuff.
Yeah, really good.
So anyway, I guess we'll find out more about that maybe tomorrow. I don't know how long they tease this for, but probably soon. Anyway, because it sounds like it's coming out next week, which will be pretty quick. Other news dropped: Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 are coming to consoles September 4th.
I mean, I love Tony Hawk.
Right.
1 and 2. It will have apparently not the full soundtrack. The way they worded it, it makes me think that it will not be the full soundtrack, but Guerrilla Radio is going to make it. And I mean, these days you can just make your own fucking soundtrack, right? So fuck it.
Yeah, just have Spotify running in the background, right, Joab?
YouTube Music, I think you mean. Fucking Google. But yeah, everyone's losing their shit. Apparently, Superman is the highlight song from Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Am I fucking crazy? But
no, that's what they're saying, right? Isn't that what Activision's saying?
What? Well, I don't know. Twitter was fucking all about it. They're like, "Oh, that's the best fucking song on the soundtrack."
Oh, okay.
I don't even think it's in the top 5 from those two combined games. I don't even think it's in the top 5. I was never huge on ska music, to be honest. So maybe that's why. But I mean, Body Jar was on the soundtrack. I don't know if it's on this new soundtrack, but Body Jar was on the soundtrack. Some fucking Aussies. Obviously, Rage Against the Machine. Was it NWA? I'm pretty sure. There's definitely some rap or hip hop, whatever you want to call it. But maybe that's just my own personal preferences. Worlds Collide. How fucking good was that song? Like, there are a lot of great songs, and I do not think ska music deserves a place in the fucking upper echelons of what people should be excited for from those two games. Anyway.
Yeah.
People who love trumpets will obviously disagree. But I don't think they're probably too stoned to fucking voice any outcry. So I'm not too worried.
Right. Are you going to take a stab at how this game has been fucked?
You reckon it's fucked?
Like, what is in the game that they've fucked with it?
There will not be infinite manuals for sure, right?
No, I mean, like, is it going to have like some sort of? Is there loot boxes? Do you think there's loot boxes or something?
Oh, like you reckon a monetization fucked?
Maybe.
No,
I
surely
mean,
not.
It looks like they've updated graphics and all that sort of stuff.
That maybe it's just Tony can wear some different pants or something. I don't know. I don't give a fuck about that.
Is Spider-Man still in the game?
That's important. Probably not.
Why not?
Probably not.
What if they do a deal with Sony and he's only on the Sony one?
Oh, now that'd be some shit. That would be some shit. That's a good thought. That's a good one. I like that. But like back to the actual gameplay, there's no way they leave infinite manuals in, right?
I don't know.
Because they were cooked. You know how you could like manual once the timer ran down, if you're still in a combo, you could continue your combo.
You just keep so
all you do was manual and
grind,
just
manual
build up.
grind.
Yeah, exactly. I assume they're gonna ruin that.
Yeah. See how they break it.
Anyway.
Everybody's pretty hyped about that, but that'll probably blow pretty quickly. And the last piece of news we got here is Drew McCoy and John Sherling are starting up a new studio called Gravity Well. And these two guys, ex-developers from Respawn Entertainment, who have worked on some very popular games, I guess most recently Apex Legends. Drew was the a producer over there and a creative lead. John has worked on Apex, Titanfall, Call of Duty back in the day. A lot of big games. So one of the most interesting things Gravity Well is doing is they're going to be a remote-based studio, which is good timing for what's going on right now. So they'll be based in LA, but it seems like they're hiring globally at the moment. You'll be able to work from home, which is interesting change. And they're looking to be a AAA studio with about 80 to 100 employees. So, I mean, yeah, good luck to them. I'm definitely interested to see what they do, considering their caliber and their success of a lot of their games. You know, the Titanfall stuff's been excellent. Apex has obviously been excellent. All the Call of Duty games they've worked on have been really good. They've got a lot of talent. So hopefully we see some good stuff from them.
Drew, haven't we?
Yeah, I've interviewed Drew about Apex. He was really cool.
Yeah, so am I. Yeah. Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah. All right, and that's the news.
Yeah. That's about it.
Any questions?
Some good news. We're heating up in terms of news and stuff. I guess we're leading into the
E3.
I don't know, 8-week-long E3 because E3 doesn't exist anymore.
No, so the Summer Games Fest, Jeff Keighley's Summer Games.
Yeah, but otherwise, no. Do we have any questions? No, we don't. Okay. Send us questions. That does mean we can go.
We can finally leave.
I can go do my morning poop.
Oh, nice. That's
excited.
what I want to hear. All right. The Gap, you can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify, YouTube, all those places under The Gap, the GA podcast, the Gap podcast. If you do have a moment, please rate and review the show. It helps other people find it. I appreciate people that do that. If you'd like to send us questions, you can email us, thegapodcast@gmail.com. You can also go to our Discord page, thegapodcast.com/Discord. Leave us questions on there. You can play games. You can chat about other things that are going on. There's a lot of good things happening over there. Let us know what you think of all this Xbox and Sony stuff. Some new trailers coming out soon. Maybe you're liking things. Because I think, was it... Oh, I don't remember who said it. Someone was saying that we answered a question, because I can't check right now, that we answered a question they wanted to ask, but we answered it anyway. It was about Valorant.
Oh, right, yeah.
Was it Rasty off the top of my head?
Not sure.
Yeah. Anyway, we were talking last week about Valorant, and that person said that we answered their question without them writing in, so that was good.
Perfect. Go us.
You can find us on social media, facebook.com/GAPodcast, twitter.com/GAPodcast. You can find us on YouTube, thegapodcast.com/YouTube. If you want to watch this show on video, you can see Joab's growler that he brought in. Otherwise, you can look at his onesie, because that's what I'm looking at.
It's not a onesie, it's an hoodie.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's a blanket hoodie, and it is the fucking tits.
So there's nothing on underneath, then I take it.
Why would there be?
That's what I meant. You can also go to...
I don't need it.
Oh, gosh. No, please stop. That's how we get banned on YouTube.
Things are heating up.
They'll be like, is that a nipple? And no, it's not a nipple.
Oh, my Lord, not again. Not again. That's a nipple.
If we're on Twitch, it'd be fine, but not YouTube.
Ah, that's true.
Yeah. You can go to our website, thegapodcast.com. You can find links to everything we talked about today on the show, including past episodes. You want to go catch up on some of them. And if you'd like to help support the show, you can go to patreon.com/GAPodcast. Help run the website, basically. We appreciate everyone that does that every month.
We do.
Helps us
You're amazing.
Run this show.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
And that is it for this week. Have you got anything you'd like to pimp out that you've been working on?
No, I can't talk about it yet. Head to I think it'll be up tomorrow. Head to Red Bull Games. I've got some stuff going up there about athletes using esports to stay competitive in lockdown.
Right. Did you talk to
should be pretty
some basketball players?
No, sadly, I could not organise that. Australian athletes who
Andrew Bogut.
are no, definitely not. Fuck that prick. But yeah, anyway. So I think it's good. Yeah. And next week, actually before the podcast next week, head to Red Bull. You can read up on the next Rainbow Six Siege. I don't know, content pack, I suppose, because I will have played it. Hopefully, I'll try and put some footage, depending on how I go. But I'll put some footage. I'll send you the footage so that you can chuck it in the YouTube next week or whatever.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yep.
Good. You can find me twitter.com/Luke Lawrie, Lawrie, and that is it for this week. We'll be back next week. I think we'll be talking about Monster Train, because we'll be able to do that then. That'll be out by the time we get this one up. So looking forward to that. Otherwise,
yes.
See you then.
See ya.